All right, welcome back to episode 53
Yep.
of the Action Toon Brothers Super Show. As you may know, I'm your super paisano Ben Sturgeon.
Oh, my own. It's me, Matthew Loas over here.
And we just got done not watching the Super Mario Brothers movie yet. However, we did bring a friend of the podcast with us. Say hello to Chris Bow.
Insert
Nice silence.
insert freaking applause.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Sorry.
I was gonna say, well, thank you.
What the fuck were you, a demon or a raptor? Or a raptor?
Yeah,
I was trying.
background sounds,
I was gonna go for like stock sound footage.
Yeah.
Like
They're just like golf claps all around.
Yeah.
Whack. But yeah, so that's, I guess
the
that's
pod-
Chris's intro.
That's me. That's my intro.
Sorry. We have to go by his alias. Sorry, Chris Man.
Chris Man.
Chris Man.
Is that a thing now?
It's Chris, friend of the podcast, Chris Man Bow.
Chris, friend of the podcast.
That's goddamn. That's a hell of a nickname. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, but you want to know something? You know what the thing about nicknames is?
What?
You earned it.
Hell yeah.
Yay.
But now, in all seriousness, the three of us are here to finally wrap up one of the better shows in, when did this come out? 2021?
2021,
Yeah, 2021, yeah. Gonna wrap up probably was it the best show?
Well, I mean, it did win 4 Emmys for animation.
Game of the Year of shows.
Yeah,
whatever the fuck they
Emmy
call it.
award-winning show.
Yeah. But we are here to wrap up with part 3 of Arcane. Holy shit, this has been a ride for me.
Hell yeah.
Because if you were to hear me have my friend come over here and say, "Hey, League of Legends show, fucking watch it," I would have said, "Fuck you. No, I hate League of Legends." Which is exactly what I did say to him.
Mm-hmm, that is true.
But this all started. Us doing this recording was because either he was going to do it or I was going to do it, and I decided to beat him to the punch this time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's very few moments where I get proven wrong. And in this one,
Sure.
I'm actually when it comes to fucking TV shows and shit like that you like, we got.
Oh
some
yeah, you
similars.
hated Young Justice. And
No,
you hated Legend of Korra, I forgot. And also you hated...
To be fair,
Never wrong, Ben.
to be fair, with Legend of Korra, it wasn't you trying to convince me. It was, wait, you haven't seen Legend of Korra? Ed pops out from the garbage can. You haven't seen Legend of Korra? Chris popping out of his computer. You haven't seen Legend of Korra? All three of you at the same time. Well, you're in luck. You were watching it.
And then you're just like, Ed, what are you doing in my trash can?
Wait, no, actually, whoa. Oh, we have two special guests. We have Chris's cats, Munchie, short for Munchlax, and Quill, short for Quillava. And Munchie just hopped on my lap randomly just to hop off.
Hello.
So, but anyway, yeah, this show has been a fucking trip and a half, man.
Oh, heck yeah.
And, yeah. Just, I really don't, I mean...
It was a huge surprise to, like, literally everyone who watched it. The popularity it had on Netflix, it was, like, #1 for, like, months, because it was so insanely well received. Like, much to, like, and of course, like, tons of people who have no idea what League even is chimed in and loved it, because it was so well written and so
and
well
I
acted,
bet you...
so well animated. It was
like
just,
me.
Yeah, like Chris and... Chris watched it on his... You watched it on your own, right? You
I did.
I actually watched it on my own, too, after I announced this movie. Yeah, I watched it on my own. I didn't watch it with anyone at first. It was
no, I mean literally Chris, like, picked up the show having no interest in League. I'm like tertiarily, I'm a huge fan of League now, but I was like a tertiary fan of it. Chris had no interest in League, but picked up the show, and fucking, of course, yeah, Chris, well, yeah.
It's great. I freaking love it. I have no interest in the games. I still don't.
Yeah.
But I love the show.
I'm the same way. Like, I'm just like, the games, I'm still not gonna pick up that toxicity, but yeah. This show proved me wrong, as you all know about the joke. Yes, many times I've been proven wrong on this show. But now, holy shit, just, I guess, let's just get into it.
Alright, just
part 3, episode 7, the boy savior.
Savior.
Well, at least Ed's not here to say that fucking Kuvira's
Yeah.
It starts off
with a crazy music video.
with a short ass
black
rap
white
music
and green
video
of like just all the firelights showing all the different members and like their cool ass masks and just them chilling out, hanging out, being rebellious, like beating up enforcer dummies and
Chilling
stuff
out,
like
maxing out, hanging by the pool.
Yeah, pretty much.
Chilling out, relaxed, yeah. And they like beating up enforcer things and just like cool painterly style with like graffiti and a very, very fun art style.
And then we cut to Caitlyn and Vi.
Yeah, with their heads in sacks and tied up to weird banisters, being like, "What the hell's going on?
What's going on? What the hell's going on? Why did I trust you, Vi? What's that crystal you're looking for? Dead silence. Yeah, what I fucking thought.
Yeah, neither of them trust each other. But then somebody comes in, you can't really see because the camera POV is like inside of the
inside the sack,
mask.
so you can't really see who's coming in or anything.
Yeah, and then you hear Vi say, "Hey, get off of me, let me go." And then like
Vi,
Caitlin's like, "What's going on?" Yeah,
Vi?
Caitlin's kind of worried about what's happening to Vi, and then it cuts to Vi again tied up, handcuffed to a railing, and she's getting her mask pulled off, and you see the large Vistaya firelight dude pull the mask off and kind of like growl.
Oh, what kind this time?
He's like, well, you said he's kind of like bat. I'm guessing. Yeah, I agree with you. He's probably some kind of.
Yeah, he looks like he's got like the pointy ears and everything.
Pointy ears and a like flash nose.
And then of course he starts walking out, and you see the leader just sitting there with his mask, and Vi breaks the ice. Vi, are you just shy or are you just ugly?
Yeah, being hilarious as she always is.
Leader, not a word, stands up, takes off his mask, takes off his like whatever the hell hood or whatever, and it's Echo, or as we said in part 1, Little Man. Yeah, and Echo's just like
he's much older. He's just completely the face. He's pissed
you
off.
look good for a dead man, for a dead person.
Yeah.
Sorry, for a dead person.
Girl.
Yeah, dead girl. That's what it was.
And then she says, "Well, you're still like, what are you doing here? Oh my god! Like you're the leader of the. Why didn't you just tell me? Why didn't you come help me?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're running around with the Zona. Do you work for Silco?" And she's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, and you're like, I mean. Because, Echo's all about, like, not trusting Vi, because Vi's been gone for so many years.
Yeah.
And Vi's like, dude, what the hell? We know each other. And, of course, Echo's like, people change. I just need to make sure you have it. And just standing his ground against Vi, and Vi's just like, wow, I can't believe... I never remembered at any time you could actually stood up to me.
Yeah, she's
and
impressed.
Then stands up and hugs him. And Echo's like... Wait, when did you break out of these cuffs? How long have you been whining? And I'm just like, that's awesome. See, that's how you do a reunion.
Yeah, it's very, very adorable, and also like it's fun seeing that her reaction to Echo, who she hasn't seen in years, is finally a good reconnection for her. Finally, unlike her connection.
Right? Yeah, finally something. Well, aside from Caitlyn, finally something positive.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, they share a friendly embrace, and then we cut to Victor's researching.
Yeah, him when he went to go visit Singed at the end of last episode. We see Singed kind of going through all the notes about the hex core now, and we see Victor's kind of looking at the old like hung up Rio being all weird and like, so what do you think of the research? He's saying, oh, it's very interesting, and it's not reacting, and she's like, no, we can't fix plants. He's like, oh, you're not worried about plants, are you? You're worried about trying to kill yourself.
You didn't come here for plants. If you did, you would have went somewhere else. So like that Heimdinger got away.
Yeah. No,
he says, he
mentions that. Yeah, he mentions that like love and friendships and all that kind of in the way of researchers like us, and so that's how why he does not work with Heimerdinger anymore.
Right, and then as Victor's like, can you help with this? You see Singed pull out a vial of shimmer.
Yeah.
Wait, this is shimmer? A variant.
Yeah.
Just remember, Victor, you go down this path, they're gonna hate you for it.
Yeah.
And Victor's response is taking it, saying, Jace will understand.
Yeah, and this is when we cut to
Jace. Hard at work at the forge.
Oh, yeah. Shirtless workout.
Shirtless muscle man workout, only he's not, like, super muscular. Yeah. It's just, like,
We see one of the bolts on his machine fly off and, like, roll to the feet of Mel.
Yep, and Mel's just like, oh, well, I mean, you've certainly been doing a lot.
Yeah, we also see her pass by the grenade that he got from Marcus last episode, saying that it was from the Firelights.
Yep, and then he said, like, that's one of the things they talk about, is he's like, yeah, I found this grenade. I tried to take it apart, but it literally almost killed me.
Yep. And he also says that he doesn't know what to do about the Undercity, and also he betrayed Heimerdinger when they kicked him out of the council meeting. And he's still very upset about that. But she's saying, no, you did the right thing. You're going to fix the city, trust me.
And they're kind of a thing, I guess, again?
Yeah, they're still...
Well, they boned the one time.
Yeah.
Then she was like, dude, why are you being so open with me after a one-night stand? And now they're just together again.
Yeah.
This relationship is really, really weird.
It's pretty straightforward. And she's kind of just like, well, don't worry, you're doing the right thing. And then she puts, like, the bolt in his hand, like, hey, don't lose your nuts.
yeah. I can talk to the council and, like, back them off a little bit. Just don't lose your nuts. Yeah. Hey, you know who did it better? Hector and his vampire girl. From Castlevania. Because they were nothing but innuendos.
Yeah, that was all just awful innuendos.
They still had something,
They're
but...
very cute. But now we cut to Sevica repairing her arm and talking with... Oh, no, she still doesn't.
It's
still a sling.
It's just like Sevica's like, hey, Silco, Marco shut down the borders between, Piltover and Zon.
Yeah, he's getting bold, our sheriff, and he's just like, what the hell's that idiot thinking? And she's like, maybe he turned, we don't know.
And also the...
Chem Barons.
Yeah, the Chem Barons, they've called an assembly, and he's just like... What?
So he
was like, I didn't call any shit.
Yeah, he's also like, where's Jinx at? And he's like, I'm gonna go find her. And then Sevica's just like, hey man, I didn't get along with my old man. And he's like, and your point is, like, well, she'll come to you when she's ready. Just leave her alone and deal with this other thing.
Yep. Speaking of which, we cut the Jinx in the workshop and just starts... Well,
yeah, this is like I said when we were watching it, this is one of my favorite scenes because it's just her, like, bursting into her lab, completely, like, deranged and pissed because she lost Vi again. And she starts stapling her leg wound that she got from one of the firelights last episode. And, like, every time she, like, staples it, she has, like, one of her crazy visions of either, like, one of Clagger or Milo or somebody talking to her. She's, like, screaming at them and she's like, what?
Shut up. She's just a friend. If I wouldn't leave me, would she?
Yeah, she wouldn't do that again. She better not. She's, like, stapling her leg every single leg.
I don't remember her name. I don't need to remember her name. Staples, another staple. Caitlin.
Yeah, and then she's like laughing and like losing her mind again from the pain and the adrenaline of all this shit she's going through.
And of course she's trying to tell herself that, oh, don't worry, Vi came for me, not the crystal.
Yeah.
And then we cut to
back to Echo.
Oh, yep, Echo showing the home.
Showing the giant tree that they have in all the whole area that the Firelights are living in.
Wait. Trees?
Yeah, a giant tree in the Undercity.
Damn, I didn't know anything could grow there.
Yeah.
Except for, addicts.
Yeah, literally everyone's impressed and saying, like, yeah, all these people have lost their families, all these kids and orphans and stuff, and this is just giving them a home because there's nowhere up top. Like, Topside doesn't want them in the Undercity. It's too dangerous for them to be by themselves.
Right, yeah. And then he also mentions, like, dude, yeah, this is what we've been doing for a while.
Yeah,
all because of people like Silco and Jinx.
Yeah, and she's like, no, it's powder. Quit calling her that. And he says, like, I'm gonna show you a mural.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you a mural. He doesn't say it. I'm gonna show you a fucking mural.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just like, come here. You see a mural of like everyone who has been lost. You see like, you see Vi. You see well, back then Powder. You see like Milo, Clagger, Vander, even.
Yeah.
And a few other people, and including a newly fresh painted one, which is from Part 2, Episode 4.
Yeah.
The redhead girl who was a part of the Firelights. Yeah, Firelights. My Rammstein almost came out for a moment. But yeah, and just, freshly painted. He's like, yeah, this is everyone who has been killed, who we've lost. And, Jinx is here. Powder's dead.
Yeah,
she doesn't
she's responsible
exist
for some of these people out here who are dead, definitely, including like the main people from the first part. And she says, "No, I can't give up on my sister." She just refuses to.
Yep, she just refuses to like give up. And then we cut to the borders.
Yeah, the bridge between Piltover and the Undercity, and we see that there's like a huge riot, and all the enforcers are running around, keeping all of the poor folk on the other side. And then
Victor's sitting waiting.
Yeah, with his crutch in his hands, and you see Jace talking to the enforcers like, "Yeah, thanks for letting me know that he's here." And he runs up to him and says, "What are you doing? This looks terrible." One of the councilman's like number one associate is like sneaking into the Undercity, and he was like, "I was talking to my friend I told you I was going to talk to."
And he's just like, "Yeah, dude, I literally made this whole border thing." And Victor's like, "I'm sorry, who you did this?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah." And now all of a sudden you're sneaking around? We can't trust the Undercity. Undercity bad. Victor looks at him like, are you fucking serious now? And even Victor's like, dude, you know where I came from, asshole.
Yeah.
And Jason's just like, fuck. Sorry, there's been a whole lot going on. What'd your friend say? My friend said that, nothing can really change. Can't do anything about it.
As he kind of like clutch, you see him like a focus shot of him clutching the
vial
handle on his thing, which has the vial inside of it.
Right.
Yeah, he says, "Don't worry, we'll figure out something." As they start walking away, people start throwing like firebombs and stuff at the two of them.
And then we go to Soko.
Yeah, riding an elevator up to the meeting with the Chem Barons.
Yep, and we get to meet a lively cast of people. The fucking underjaw looking motherfucker with the
Finn,
with the fucking lighter Finn.
Yeah. We see a number of really cool designed Chem Barons who are figures that do change, but they're like the main crime people in Piltover or in Zon. And they change periodically throughout time.
Yep, and of course Soko just walks in and is like, "Hey." Actually, before that,
we hear
you see Finn's talking like, "Hey, dude, he's old. He needs to go out. We can just take care of him. It's not going to be difficult." Soko walks in and is like, "I didn't call a meeting."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, but we're still here." So, your performance is lacking, Silco, and we want to just make a deal for the gemstone.
Yeah, and then we see the giant fan vent above them kind of get turned off as Sevika pulls out a giant weird canister, like an air canister of some kind.
Well, like the fan stops and Silco's like, "Really now? This is what we're gonna do, huh? This is how we're gonna do it." You see Sevika have like a gas mask.
Yeah.
Or a breathalyzer or something, and a canister full of...
It's the same kind we see with the Enforcers wearing whenever they go to the Undercity.
Right. And then you see like a canister lit with something, and she just drops it. And all of a sudden, people start gasping for air.
Yeah, and then Soko goes on a speech about how they've all forgotten what the Undercity is like, why they formed in the first place, and why any of them are doing any of this at all.
Air's so thick that it literally chokes you.
Yeah. But while he's saying this, all the Chem Barons are choking, but he's completely fine breathing all of it in, having no problem. And they're also sliding the Chem Barons one by one, each masks, as he's saying this speech about how they've gotten fat and lazy.
Fat and lazy.
Above the Undercity. And then he finally goes to Finn, who's like literally on the ground, gagging, coughing, and he just says, "Don't forget what I've given you guys." And he like breathes in it. He takes them out, breathes
it in, and then just throws it down at Finn.
Yeah, and then he walks out saying, "Glad we had this meeting."
yeah. Glad we had this talk.
Yeah.
And then
Mel
and what's her name?
Sister, Laura. Yeah,
that's her sister?
Not sister,
assistant. Okay.
Yeah.
It sounded like you said sister. I'm like, no. But it's just like standing looking over Piltover, and Laura's like, "Dude, your Jace buddy, he's kind of fucking up."
Yeah.
And Mel's like, "Yeah, I think I might have fucked up trying to get him in."
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what he's up to, but then she gets a letter.
Oh, hey, by the way, you had a letter, and it has like the symbol that's on her ring, I believe.
Yeah, and like, it's on the background wall of her like seat at the table too. I believe.
Yep. And so she's got that. Meanwhile,
it cuts back to Caitlyn back in the sack, tied up in the Undercity, and we see that she gets her mask pulled off, and it's a kid with like a bowl of water for her.
Like, here, have some water. And of course, Caitlyn gets like freed.
Yeah,
and gets offered water. Just she smacks it away.
Like, what the fuck is going on? Where then he sees the leader of the Firelight.
Echo's just like, yo. Like, just looks.
Yeah, and then she's just like, "Where's Vi? I'm the one you want. Let her go."
Let her go. And then Vi just appears like, "My hero. I thought they were hurting you." Echo's just like, Vi says, "I can trust you."
So
can I?
Yeah, you're gonna get a ticket out of here. That's it.
Yeah. Can I? You're gonna get a ticket out of here, and that's it. The end.
And this is when finally one another funny scene with Silco trying to do his eyeball thing himself. And Juice kind of just like pops up and starts like, "Hey, what's going on?" So
hi, buddy. Yeah. Hi, liar, oh friendo pal.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, like just pokes him in the wrong spot. Don't move, or like Silco trying to explain what the fuck was going on. This is one of her
most like Joker-like scenes because she is just like
it really fucking
full on, just like stabbing her repeatedly, asking him a question. He's like he's telling her the truth. Like, I thought she was dead. I didn't know she was alive, and it was Marcus's fault. He's like repeatedly stabbing him in the face with this thing and just being completely cruel and like.
And he I forget what he says exactly, but it's just
she says again. He reiterates that she's not here for you. She's here for the Hextech Crystal. We need to finish our device, or they'll never listen to us in the Upper City.
And then that like brings her back.
She's kind of like, "Oh, fine. I guess you're not. You wouldn't lie to me like that, would you?" And then she just kind of gives him the proper eye treatment.
And then she just vanishes.
Yeah, completely teleports out practically.
And then we go back to Echo and Caitlyn having a heated argument.
Yeah, they are talking about she's more impressed again with the Firelight's underground city stuff. But then he says like, yeah, we can't trust you. You're an enforcer, and they all treat people like shit. And she's saying, hey, if we have evidence that still goes behind this, we can like easily just prove it. Just give me the gemstone back.
And of course, Vi this time
Finally,
is the
like,
one trying to play both sides of the field.
Yeah, but also she's finally like, what the hell is this gemstone? What are you guys obsessed about this weird thing? And then she finally tells her, it was stolen by your sister, and it is a device that can make people build anything that's hex tech, right? Any other hex tech they could possibly build with this. And so she's saying, hey, I understand you guys have been treated like shit, and I want you to come with me to get to the upper city, and we will be able to prove that.
Well, actually, all she said, she actually originally was like, hey, if you give this back to me and not use it for weaponizing, we can make this a better place. Yeah. Then Echo's like, on one condition. I'm giving it to them.
Yeah, he wants to do it himself.
Yep, he's going to do it himself.
And this is the scene where we see Victor trying to dismantle the grenade that he got, that Jace got. He's also with Mel in the scene, and Mel's kind of again saying like, "We need to make weapons to deal with the Undercity people."
Yeah, and of course Victor's like, no, no, we don't.
Yeah,
this is the whole point is we don't want to.
Make it to improve lives, not to torture or hurt people.
And Jace is like literally conflicted by this, and all of a sudden it's just like, wait, Victor's like. Sorry, Mel was like, "This is your choice after all." Leaves. Victor's like, "Are you fucking serious? You're actually considering this? Do you not remember our whole thing? Like, why we
trying to
these?
improve lives? There's always a choice. You can't like." He's like, "Oh, I don't know if I have a choice." And this is when the quick cutscene of of like a boat flying across the river with a small yordle in the hood in it. Who could it be?
Oh no! We know who it is because it actually shows his face, I believe. Because it's John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Yep, once again with the Heimerdinger, and then we see Echo preparing to leave with Kate and Vi. And they are going to leave in the firelights. They go into the underground tunnel, and they see a bunch of the green firelights. And they're like, "That's way more." Well,
they see a bunch of the bugs. We still don't know what their names are, but you probably did because.
No, she says firelights in the scene.
Well, no, not yet. I was gonna say at the scene, it's just like, wow, yeah, we call them firelights because that's like the first thing. This is the first time they drop that name for the bugs.
Yeah.
And After that, you know,
there's a lot of cutting around in this episode.
There really is. Jace is like. Jace is like, hey, oh, that's right.
He's back home with his mom.
Jace was like, hey, I need to think, I need to leave, and then now he's actually with his mom saying, hey,
I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I'm having a bad time right now, and he actually he was having trouble, and he went to the one person he knew he could trust, aka his own mother.
Yeah, and he gives her a hug, and he says, I think I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. I have to take charge of what's going to happen to the city. And then we see he was looking at a small picture, a cartoon picture he drew of himself as a kid, like with a big giant hammer as a superhero.
With a hammer as a superhero.
Yeah,
that's not foreshadowing.
That's how I'm going to be one day.
Victor gets the vial out of the shimmer, and he's just like holding it like, should I? But then you see with his leg brace, you see in the metal and in his skin just like runes being carved into him pretty much. Yeah. And then he is like, okay, here's the shimmer. He injects the shimmer in his leg.
Yeah.
And then after he injects himself, he cuts his hand open and feeds the hex core.
Yeah.
His blood, his tainted blood.
Shimmerfied blood.
Yeah, his shimmerfied blood and the magic of the crystal, all kinds of just a huge giant explosion, and he gets blasted back, and we don't know what happens yet.
Right. And then in the meantime, Echo, Vi, and Caitlin are on the bridge.
Yeah.
And of course, Vi hugs Echo, is like, hey, be careful, little man. And then Caitlin and Vi share a warm embrace because beings of the les variety.
Yeah, they are having a beautiful hug.
They're lesbians with each other.
Oh god, fucking Scott Pilgrim's great.
It is.
But yeah, they are hugging, and we see up on the rafters of the bridge, very upset Jinx is watching them, and she is just seething with no, she's gonna leave. It's just a goodbye hug.
Yeah, it's just a goodbye. Fuck you guys.
It's just a tender face touch after she leaves. That's all. They're just friends.
and then Echo and Caitlin start walking away, and I've said this once in every single part. Lights turn on, and what'd you know? It's that fucking Marcus again.
Yep, that Marcus.
What are you doing crossing the bridge? Dude, we have tangible evidence that Soko's behind everything. Show me.
And Echo kind of reluctantly is like, shit. And then
first Echo's just straight up fucking no. I said I was going to give it to the council. And Caitlyn's like, dude, we can trust him. And Echo's just like, shit. gets the thing out, and well, Marcus looks at it and is just like, oh, that's nice. Fucking pulls a gun out.
Yeah, shoots Echo.
It shoots Echo and then shoots, gets ready to shoot Caitlyn.
Yeah, he's like, why couldn't you just leave it alone? He's like, kind of like,
you shouldn't have asked so many questions.
Yeah, you shouldn't have asked so many questions.
Yeah, you asked too many questions.
Yeah, it's like, what's it called? Do you see Hobo with a Shotgun?
No.
Okay.
Hobo with a shotgun.
That's an actual movie, yeah.
It's an amazing, amazing movie, but there's a scene there near the end where, like, he's just going crazy and killing all the evil, corrupt cops, and, like, some guy's like, he's killing all the cops, and the guy's like, hey, just the corrupt ones, and then another guy's like, we're all corrupt cops! It's just like...
that's almost as ridiculous as a movie called Cocaine Bear!
Yeah, it's almost as ridiculous as that, but they're both amazing
a few
movies.
days ago, he learned that Cocaine Bear
is excellent, and so is Hobo with a Shotgun. They're both...
I told you, you wanted to bring up Cocaine Bear, you'd be like, hey, Matt, I heard of this movie.
You're going to cover both of them on Movie Garbage, right?
Well, because Cocaine Bear is very... Well, they're both very funny, so yes, we'll cover both of them.
Okay.
They're both amazing movies.
But as you know,
speaking of corrupt cops.
Yeah, speaking of corrupt cops, Marcus picks up the thing with the hex gem.
Yeah.
And he gets ready to shoot Caitlyn, and then lots of firelights.
We also see, we're cutting in between that, is Vi turning around after she heard the gunshot and running back to Caitlyn, and we see very pissed off Jinx saying, no, what the hell is she doing? I can't believe she's betrayed me again.
Like, what? Oh, it is alive.
Yeah, she's really pissed, and we see her kind of move and like to do something. As Vi's running towards them, we see a huge flock of firelights, like way more than before.
Yep.
Following behind her.
And, there's more like, I'm Marcus, I'm a cool character, see, I'm a corrupt cop, I'm evil. All the firelights appear and start landing. And one lands on Marcus's gun, and Marcus looks, and you see that they're not really organic, are they?
They're the, actually, if you pay attention in part 2, during the Progress Day, there was a guy who had a bunch of mechanical butterflies and stuff.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that Jinx stole at the beginning of part 2 also. We see one land on one of the Enforcer's guns, we see one land on the Enforcer's, we see him just kind of flying around, and you're like, what the hell?
And, yeah, what the hell? And of course Marcus looks and takes a closer look, and on the wings, they like flitter a little bit, and when they stop, you just see fucking Jinx paint on
Jinx
it.
monkey face
And they explode like fireworks, kind of. Like tiny fireworks.
Yeah, well, tiny fireworks are like small explosives because they are like...
Yeah, because everyone fucking dies except for Caitlyn somehow.
Yeah, they're all black. Well, she didn't have one land on her, fortunately, I guess. But yeah, it's just like you see them completely getting blown apart, and it is just an insanely cool far shot of the thing just exploding all across the bridge.
And of course, we get the final words of the best character, Marcus. Tell my daughter I... Yeah. Okay, red versus blue. Yeah. And like honestly, that would have made his character even better if he actually did that.
Yeah, we also see the bullet that shot Echo was stopped by his chest armor piece.
Yeah. Chris over here, like watching that, he's like, damn, that's some pretty good armor. Like, what was it, Kevlar or some shit?
Also, you find out that Echo is a bit of an inventor himself. So he probably fashioned some kind of metal armor for himself during that. Because he also designed the hoverboards and also a bunch of other stuff you'll find out.
Fair, yeah.
But yeah, he obviously done some kind of super metal for himself to be protected from a straight up, like, point-blank gunshot from the Enforcers.
Jinx picks up the can.
Oh yeah, we see, like, a slow, like, evil shot of her coming down the bridge out of the smoke and just, like, crushing one of the butterflies. And finding the canister, picking it up, putting it over her shoulder.
She's also humming a song.
She's humming My Friend Across the River, which she's humming
at the very beginning of the series. Yeah.
Just now it's more sinister, obviously, because she's far more sinister.
Yep.
We see her shooting some Enforcers that just happen to be alive still, point blank, just offing people again. And we see finally Vi makes it to Caitlyn and like helps her up and saying, "Oh my God, you're alive! What the hell happened? We gotta get out of here. Do you have the device? We don't know where it is."
And of course, Jinx is picking up has the device with the crystal in it. And,
yeah.
She's like, hot, she just gives a look, just starts walking away, and then you see Echo appear.
No. There's a very specific, we see the two of them hugging, we see Jinx sees them and gets upset. I see a horror vision of...
Oh yeah, the horror
evil
vision of Caitlyn with like the devil smile flickering.
And then she picks up her Gatling gun and prepares to shoot them. Now people froze framed this scene a bunch because it was like such a funny little shot. Not funny, but it's an interesting shot.
Funny
Caitlyn,
like the interesting.
No, yeah, Caitlyn tries to put her arm in front of Vi to protect her, but Vi is the one who shoves Caitlyn apart so they don't get killed. So they're both trying to protect each other. And as they shove each other apart and move, we see a cool ass shot of slow motion Echo coming between them with his crazy bat out and just fucking knocks the shit out of her. And
that knocks the shit out of her. Even takes the fucking canister as well. And then you see Echo like looking directly at Jinx, tosses the canister back at Vi and Caitlyn. He's like, "Go!"
Yeah, just get the hell out of here.
And as they leave. This scene, holy shit!
This scene was such a fucking.
It was a fucking trip because Vi's just looking like, what the fuck are you really? And all Echo does is he's got his bat in his one hand, and in the other hand he just drops the watch, and then the music just fucking starts.
Yeah,
Jinx just like smirks like, yeah, I know where this is going.
Yeah.
And then. Like, fucking loads her gun, and you see, like, this really, really well done, like, art style.
Yeah, like, fun
kind of, where you see, like, flickers of, like, Echo and Jinx, as, like, kids and as of now.
Yeah, as small
and
children.
like, as kids, they would spar all the time, and every single time, Echo would run up, getting ready to do some cool shit. And, Vi would just, not Vi, fucking, Jinx would just, Powder at this point.
Yeah.
Shoot him right in the chest and be like, I win.
Yeah, it was like a funny thing of like, she would always shoot the same way and he would always be able to dodge the first 3 shots but then get hit right in the chest with the third one.
Yep, and then, like, after that whole thing happens, it literally, like, the music, like, slows.
Yeah.
It goes back in time, and it, like, back in time, air quote.
Yeah.
Like, it just reverses everything we've just seen back to the point where he drops where Echo drops the watch present time, and then starts running up, shoot, misses the third shot.
Yeah.
And Echo
successfully smacks her in the head with the
smacks her in the head and beats the fuck out of her.
Yeah, he is actively punching the shit out of her, and she's like struggling, and it's in such an intense, violent scene of like someone finally matching Jinx's like actually stopping her for once.
But then he stops because Jinx has that look in her eyes.
Sad, like, oh my friend, like, what are you doing to me? Why are you beating me up like this? And then he actually stops. He's like, oh man, I can't believe it's
actually like, dude, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden, just you hear click. And you see her roll, like, gently roll one of her bombs, and it explodes.
Yeah, you see, and he's just like, you see him shocked look, and then you see the giant explosion from, again, far off shot from the bridge of the explosion going off. And that is the end of the first episode of part 3.
Holy
what a fun fucking
shit.
thing. Yeah, a fucking goddamn Jinx is absolutely crazy.
Absolutely batshit insane.
She is so great. But yeah, I also love the way that they obviously, in Proper League, eventually Echo does discover an ancient device that does allow him, like, short amount time travel powers and abilities. And that is what.
So he becomes a speedster.
Not really. He
dives into the speed force.
He pretty much only thing he can do is he can go back
and save his mom from dying.
He can go back a couple of seconds. He can't. No, honestly, there's a really cool video of him like the point of all the stuff he's doing is he's trying to undo all the crazy shit that Jinx did, and also there is a thing. There's like an ongoing story plot line in the game and everything that when they were kids, Echo did have a crush on Powder. And he was interested in her, and he really was upset that what's happened to her, even more so than it actually seems even in the show. But, like, his powers is that he can just do short time backwards, like, every once in a while. But he's trying to figure out a device with this crazy, weird time magic wizard to go further back and stop all this crazy shit from happening. But he's never successful at it, obviously. But, like, yeah, his power set's really cool, and the way they portray it in this as him, like, okay, I know what she's going to do, and, like, also some timing in the first part of part 2. Like, also, the whole, like, the bombs, okay, with this much time, he's always, like, doing time stuff, and it's just a fun fucking mechanic for him. I love the fight scene, was fucking incredible, the brutality of him trying to stop her was so fucking cool. Oh, God, I loved it.
Dude, the music in this show is fucking on point.
I know, so
the animation style, like, how it can change every now and then, but still get the point across and everything like that, it's like... Damn, dude. Yeah. And, of course, we see Jace still faltering.
Yeah, he's still fucking on the fence when everyone else around him is giving him all the other options, like Heimerdinger and Mel before. Now it's Mel and Victor giving him the alternatives. Like,
cast it on your phones now. Who's he gonna betray next? And then of course Victor be like doing his thing.
yeah, his self experiments on himself. It's just so rough.
Like this episode was like, because you said each part.
Yeah.
Like they had like a week to wait.
Mm-hmm.
So you wait a week after everything that happened in episode 6 happened.
Yeah.
It ended off like not too mediocre, but not too like over the top. And the first thing you see is, hey, Echo's back, and then Echo fucking dies in the same episode.
Yeah, and seemingly like, Jinx? Question mark.
What the fuck?
I love the fucking ending because it is such a once again it's playing out how devious Jinx is beyond seeming like crazy chaotic. She is literally like the Joker, like, oh, he's so random. Like, no, he's not random. Her actions are very explicit, but she also does not have any regard for her own safety, which is why she's so fucking messed up and dangerous.
It was at this point in the series
that she knew she fucked.
Because I mentioned in the last episode that Silco definitely, like, there was some manipulation. There is some signs later on as we go through that there was some, but it was at this point of the series where I was just like, oh yeah, Jinx fucking knows everything that's going on.
Yeah. But also, to your point about the manipulation, this was the part where when he was talking to her, and she was like jabbing him in the face with the device, he was kind of like convincing her that he was not lying to her, and that was him like trying to convince her of something. But also, it's like, was it manipulation, or was that just like her choosing to believe him at that time because she could?
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, she's fucking much. Lets on. She doesn't let on much.
No, yeah.
And that's what works very well for her. But it's like, holy shit. Like, honestly, one of my favorite things, just literally Echo not dragging it out. Just Vi's like, what are you, shy or ugly? And he didn't even drag it out. He didn't like try to pretend or anything and then reveal. No, he just straight up was just like, bitch, the fuck you just say to me?
Yeah, no, also that was a whole, like, people didn't know who the hell this Firelight leader was, and people were like, is this a new character? It's gonna be like somebody who's not important.
And then you find out, turns out it's Little Man.
Yeah, it's fucking Echo himself, a huge important character, and it's just like, oh shit, what a fun reveal.
If there was a way, like this episode, especially like with the people dying, with the riots going on, with the fucking chem barons and everything like that, if there was ever a time to say this, to describe what's going on right now, it would be, Chris might agree with me, great googly moogly, it's all gone to shit, Kupo.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chris? What did you think about this, like, fucking grand opening for part 3?
I mean, I liked it. I don't really have anything more to add to what's already been said.
Hell yeah.
Fair enough.
Like, all the episodes are great.
Yeah, they are. I absolutely. What do you think of Echo's like fight with Jinx and like him still him still believing that there's some powder left in her?
Yeah. Oh man, I love the symbolism of that.
Yeah,
it's like they were playing a game where it's like paintball, right? And you probably like train soldiers with paintball or something, because then it's like, well then like if you get hit with paint, then that means you're dead. Like ha, you're dead. Take off your finger guns. Only now it's like, well, all that training's fucking paid off, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it.
Now the paint bullets are bullets.
Yeah.
Now the paint bullets are now bullets.
Yeah, and even when Jinx loses, and she still is able to fucking just blow up both of them, just like fucking Predator style. Like, goddamn, she's out of control.
And then the bomb at the end is just like, yeah, that is so fucking Jinx.
Yeah, right. There was like no reason for her to do that. She could have gotten out of the situation in any way possible, but she was like, fuck it, and just like decided to blow herself up.
I mean, honestly, if you were her and she was you, would you have done the same?
I guess she's just so like, it's just she has so little regard for her own safety. It's so unfortunate.
If she was mad, then we'd all be dead right now.
Yeah.
What you mean if she was only slightly insane rather than fully insane?
Well, I'm just pointing out, like, it's one thing to say like, well, if you were her, would you have done that? But then it's like, if you were her and she was you, like, Why would you bring her into this reality, man?
Hey, just remember though, if Matt was as insane as Jinx is, we'd all be fucking dead.
Jinx is one of the fucking best characters ever. Her, like I said, disregard she has for her own safety makes her such a fucking fun character to follow. And the fact that there's Echo's the only person to have ever gotten like the upper hand on her. I'm pretty sure this whole series, she's always has the upper hand, and she still is like fuck you, and she's so good. She's such a fun character to follow.
Well, I got bested. Guess I'll just die.
Yeah, I guess I'll just kill both of us for no reason. She convinced him to stop fighting her and to let her live, and she still was just like fuck yeah.
Some men dashed away, just want to watch the world burn.
Burn the jungle down.
Even did you say burn a jungle down?
there was a comedian who was talking about like every time he quoted that scene from The Dark Knight, he'd always get it wrong, and all he would say was just like burn the jungle down. Like he says, burn a jungle down.
Okay. But yeah, it's just like some men mashed away want to watch the world burn. Even little girls with big explosives mashed away.
Yeah, she's so ridiculous.
Michael Caine is a great actor. He's a great man.
My cocaine, you mean?
My cocaine.
My
cocaine, yeah.
I hate you so much right now, Chris.
Have you never heard that?
Yeah.
No, wait, no. I lie. There was one time when I heard it. It was you just now.
Well, you're fucking welcome.
Well, now that I have that in my head, let's get right on to episode 8 of part 3.
Oh, look, we gotta get my notes so I can know the title of the episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wow, way to go, Matt.
Yeah, I was like, relaxing.
You were behind. Get with the times. Now, episode 8 of part 3. Oil and water. Personally, I like oil and vinegar, but,
God, shut up.
we flash back to Mel's childhood.
Yeah, we see Mel as a little kid, and the outfit she is wearing is a huge, huge red flag for fans of League stuff, because she's wearing a very fucked up, like, not Noxian and not Piltover. It is a very other weird cult place that it could be an allusion to what's going to happen at the end of the series, what she's wearing. But anyway, she's wearing specific robes, and they're obviously some kind of recently conquered kingdom she's taking, just recently walking around the throne of. We see someone approach her saying, "Oh, what do you think of this place, this new area that we conquered?" And it's an older woman talking to her in shadows. We don't see who it is. And she says, "Well, let's see. We should fix up the area. We'll paint the walls gold. We'll do that." She's like describing how they should decorate this new territory that they have conquered. And the mom says, "Well, maybe the ruler could be my daughter." And she's like, "Oh, you give me a kingdom?" And she's like, "Oh, I'll give you anything. Don't worry.
I'd give you the world.
I'll give you anything, pumpkin.
Yeah.
If you can prove to me that you can.
Yeah.
I'll give you anything, pumpkin, if you can take it.
Okay,
Yeah.
look, now, you keep talking. I need to look this up for a second.
Alright, so they bring in the former ruler, and she's in chains. She has some really cool, weird, like, face decorations on. And they kind of say, like, what do you think we should do with her? She's the former ruler. Young Mel saying, "Well, she's not a threat anymore. Let's just banish her to the far colonies, and we'll take her kingdom." And then her mom's like, "No." Well, the spoiler alert is her mom. But she says, "No, we can't let her live. If we let her live, this is a symbol of the old regime."
No, we can be merciful. We'll get more respect that way. Yeah. Kills her.
Yeah, just like in super anime slice, just
Yeah.
with a weird hand blade, and we see the young girl's head kind of just roll off her shoulders, and the mom saying, "Yep, if one dies, then only if she kills her, only one needs to die," and that's how we're gonna do this. And it finally just flashes back to the present day. Of May waking up from a dream.
Question for you, because I want to put this to bed finally.
Mm-hmm.
Does the voice actress Ellen Thomas mean anything to you?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay, so let's find out, because I asked Matt, I'm like, okay, is this the person who voiced Shadowbringer?
Shadowbringer?
Shadow Weaver. Fuck off, asshole. Shadow Weaver. From She-Ra.
Nope.
No, it's not?
No, it is not.
They sound so similar.
Maybe a little bit, but yeah, no, she's a different actress. She's in a lot of Doctor Who. This one is.
Well, anyway, but yeah, so flashback over. And yes, Matt, I gave you the spotlight for that one because it's your place.
Well, no, that's not in Noxus. That is a new territory conquered by a Noxian family. A minor one, like the Medardas, I guess.
Oh my god.
I'll go to Noxus at the end of the episode, don't worry.
After that flashback, Mel wakes up.
In bed with Jace again. She's
Jace, like a typical man, sleeping on his stomach, just...
Yep. And then we cut to Caitlyn and Vi still kind of helping each other up because they're both injured. Well, Caitlyn's injured from the explosion, so she's being held up by Vi this time. As they sneak around and they see that they get around to the other side of the bridge.
Yep, and then Vi's like, "Yo, I'm gonna look for help. Just stay here." And as Vi's looking, Caitlyn opens up the canister.
Oh yeah, but before that, we see that on the bridge, Silco and those two twin bodyguards are approaching where the explosion happened, and they're seeing the tons and tons of dead guards. They're seeing the dead Marcus. They're just like, oh shit, what the hell happened? They're also seeing some of the fragments of the little fireflies as well, or firelights. And then they see knocked out Jinx, and he rushes over to her like, oh my god, Jinx, are you okay? We see that she is still alive somehow from a point-blank explosion from one of her grenades.
Yeah, she's alive, but not quite.
Completely unconscious and completely out of it. And they gotta pick her up, and we see that after, Caitlyn opens up the canister and sees it's gone, and we cut to Jinx has it in her hand still. She managed to take it and keep it on her while she's
and of course Caitlyn's like, it's gone!
Yeah,
the gem is gone!
A bunch of enforcers are approaching the bridge, so they cannot go there to retrieve it or even try to stop Silco at this time.
Yep.
So he carries her back.
Carries her back indeed.
Yep.
And meanwhile, as that's happening, in the morning...
Yeah, the next day, Jason, Mel, and some enforcers are approaching the bridge as they see all the dead bodies, and Jason vomits over the side of the bridge.
Yeah, Jason does, it's like, wow. And of course, he sees remnants of one of the mechanical firelights as well. Like,
you think they did this shit again? What the hell is with these damn Undercity people? They're insane.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then we go back to Vi and Caitlyn.
Yeah, a very funny scene of them sneaking into a big fancy bedroom, and Vi's like, Jesus, is this one of your counselor friends with this fancy ass bedroom? And then kick open the door, bam, a gun to put it at them. It's Caitlyn's mom.
Caitlyn? Is that you? We've been worried sick. And you picked up a stray.
Yeah, and she's
like... dude, shut the fuck up, you privileged bitch.
She's just like, oh, don't worry. This is Vi. She's from the Undercity. Yeah, she's from the Undercity. We need to help. She needs our help. And she's like, yeah, I can tell she's from the Undercity. She says,
can we speak in private, please?
Yep. She she sees that and Vi's okay, so she limps off with her father, who also gives her a big hug when they finally meet.
Yeah, I like it. Mom's just like, good heavens, what on earth were you? And Dad's just like, hey, welcome back, daughter.
Yeah. They kind of leave off, and we see a confused looking Vi,
Yeah. And speaking of that kind of thing, Caitlyn's dad is just picking out some of the shrapnel. Mother's just like, oh, reprimand.
My
I'm
goodness.
rich.
Drinking her
Dad, literally being the perfect rich middleman. Now, honey, I'm sure this is happening. Caitlyn, blah 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 blah. Now, sweetheart, blah blah blah. It's like, you're just here to be the middleman, aren't you?
Yeah. He's doing a great job.
I'm sure everything will be fine when our daughter rests from her adventure.
Yeah. Caitlyn's kind of just like, the Undercity is being completely taken advantage of by freaking chem barons, and the people above don't give a shit about them. It's like, Caitlyn, language.
Caitlyn, language.
And then
Caitlin's literally like, no, you listen here. And she actually starts explaining that she has proof that Silco is behind all this, and she needs to talk to the council. Well, Mrs. Kiraman, being of the council, is like, you know what? All right, I'll let you and Vi.
Yeah.
I'll make you state your case. You can do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll talk to the council about this. At that moment, I'm just like, you know what? You're still a pompous bitch, but you're alright.
No, she's fucking awesome. Miss Kiraman's the best. She busted into that door with a gun on her daughter. It was looking cool as hell.
Meanwhile, after all of that...
Yep, Silco bursts into Singe's lab and says, hey, we gotta save Jinx. She's dying, and I'll do anything to save her. And then Singe is just like, oh, okay, sure. Put her on the table. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna do some crazy experiment in order to get her back to life.
Oh, by the
are you
way,
prepared to
by the-
lose her?
yeah,
And he's just like, no, she won't die. And she's like, okay, well, this is for your own good. And he stabs him in the neck with the giant syringe and knocking Silco out.
Yeah.
And
pretty
he says, oh, I've also had a daughter.
I too had a doctor. A doctor. I too had a doctor.
Yeah, doctor.
I mean, I was a child at one point. Meanwhile, Savika is sitting alone at the last drop.
Yep, she's repairing her arm, improving it with a new gigantic blade. And
When who would come that fucking lighter flinging Finn just walks in. Hey there, how's it going? Yeah, what the fuck do you want? Silco ain't here. Good. Didn't want to talk to Silco. Wanted to talk about you. Everyone I talked about when I asked what Silco's up to is always, Savika is over here doing this, Savika's doing that. This is like your ship, and yet you're not the owner of it? What
yeah,
the fuck is
you're
going
letting
on?
this is all Jinx and Silco's thing, and she's just like, wow, you're playing on my ego. I thought you were already an idiot, but you're even lower than I thought. She's like, she's not falling for it either. Just like,
And he's
okay.
just like, then listen to this. Silco's slipping. And some of us ain't too pleased with it.
Yeah, every time he fucks up, or every time Jinx gets a whim.
Yo, check it. Silco's tripping. He be slipping.
Yo, check it.
Yeah.
So check it.
Join me. We be flipping the table.
Hell yeah.
We be
We be
okay,
flipping.
you know what? Anyway, Anyway, wow, that was just said, and you know what? I love it. Keep it in post. Keep this in post.
Oh, I'm not gonna edit that out. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Finn's kind of trying to convince her, and she is just totally like not having it. But you see him kind of like, "Hey, you can take over. There are bigger fish than Silco. Trust me." And he offers her the lighter. A big metaphor for him offering her a deal, and she takes it. She like lights her cool ass cigarette and like blows smoke out of her nose, looking all cool. I like Silvika's look. She looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of like, "Oh, is she gonna take the deal or not?"
It confirms smoking makes you cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Smoking makes you look cool, kids. We here at Action Toon Brothers don't necessarily condone, but we do not condemn smoking either.
It was cool as hell.
We are not influencers except for Matt.
Yeah. But now we cut to the
The
rival of the
fucking
ship.
dock.
Yeah, we see a
see-
nice little, a tiny little thing from a tiny little family like the Medardas. A Noxian welcome. We see a bunch of soldiers lined across, especially one that kind of stands out as like a Zangief looking dude.
Mela and Alora are the only two people there.
Besides the guards.
Oh, no, I mean, of Piltover.
Well, she's not a Piltover technically. I think Alora and her are both from Noxus.
No, you know what I mean. Like, they
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
now currently residents of Piltover.
We see a cadre of a small amount of soldiers kind of just guarding the ship as someone onboards the airship, and it is Mbasa Medarda.
Say that again?
Mbasa Medarda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her name.
Hey, no. I just, like, you say it so quickly and off the tongue that I want to try to say it like that. I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah. No, Mbasa She kind of like
is,
greets her daughter saying, "Daughter," and she's just like, "Ugh, Mom, what are you doing here? What are you even bothering to stop by for?"
Oh, you didn't have to, come and visit me. This Amazonian older lady with gray hair, but she is
covered
fucking
in battle scars,
built.
jacked as heck. Yeah.
And she's like, don't worry about it. Everything's good. You didn't come all the way here just to sample the local cuisine.
Yeah.
You come over here, my daughter. And
Yeah.
when they're both alone, when Mel and Mbessa are alone, she's like, your brother's dead.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened? He crossed the wrong man.
Yeah.
And I'm here to make sure you guys don't make that mistake.
Yeah, you guys. I've heard of all the troubles with your Undercity, and war is going to be inevitable. So I also wanted to check and see how that Hextech is coming along. And she's saying, "We're not going to make weapons. We're not. That war isn't our first instinct. Don't worry, we're not going to have a war."
Yeah, we're not like you.
Yeah.
We're not like you Noxian like savages.
Well,
All of a sudden you see like this.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You see this very fancy looking boat.
Yeah.
What's the last name?
Medarda is the family.
Miss Medarda. Both of them at the same time.
Yes.
And then Mbessa's just like, "Oh, that's for me, darling." You see like this. I'm just gonna fucking say it. You see this fucking twink boy, like...
Oh, yeah, but also,
yes.
he was specifically the other sex worker they saw in the brothel. He had a mask on, but it was him in the brothel earlier that Caitlyn and them saw when they were going through the
he
building.
was the one.
He's one of the workers at the brothel, so he's
and
literally...
of course, it's like, wait, Mom, what are you doing? As Mbessa's getting ready to get on the ship, she's like, "I'm gonna sample the local cuisine."
Yeah, she be
Good,
getting it.
Gil.
Yeah, she be getting it. This is a very sweet scene where Caitlin returns to the bedroom and sees a very cute little puppy-like Vi sitting on her bed, like, oh, what's going on? Oh, you made this whole crazy Pepe Sylvia chart on the floor by yourself without any help.
And of course, it's like, hey, we can make we can talk about our case to the council tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we got to start planning. And of course, they both are laying on the fucking bed, and Vi's talking about childhood, about how she and Powder would always talk about
pretending to be bigger and bigger monsters.
Yeah, making monsters, and they'd play a game like whoever makes the biggest monster. She would say,
I'm a slug with toxic ooze, and then she was like, I'm a spike with crabs that eat slugs, and it's also a reference to the pictures we saw from our house as children.
That's why I wanted you to point out that
and
reference.
she says that when we were kids, I pretended to chase away the monsters whenever she got scared, so she wouldn't wake up our parents. And then when a real monster showed up, like Silco, I ran away, or I wasn't there to help her.
Yeah, I ran away.
Yeah, and she kind of agonizes about that, and then we have a nice little sweet, tender, face-touching moment between them, and then BAM! Cut to torture Jinx.
And by the way, it's not like a fade out or anything like that. It's just like, oh, this is serene. BAM! Just like that.
Neither of the cats even reacted to that. They didn't even look over.
Well, they're used to my loud ass.
And the cats.
Yeah, look, it just fucking hits you, and it is quite a scene.
Yeah, it's her completely drenched in blood and residue of the smoke and the explosion just all over her face. Her eyes are super crazy glowing pink too at this time.
Yeah, and as this is going on, you see flashes
hallucinations of her,
hallucinations of her and
kids.
and hearing I'm never gonna leave you, Powder, and stuff like that. Then you see fucking Vi getting a gun, pointing a gun at Powder. Yeah. Then you see Caitlin is there being like, nah, I'm stealing her from you, kind of thing.
This is my teddy bear now.
Yeah, right? And it's just you see Caitlin getting a syringe ready. This is gonna only hurt worse.
And the voice is cutting in between Caitlin's voice and Singed, who's actually doing this to her.
Going fucking everywhere. Her screaming in agony. And then we finally get a cut to black.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, a little bit of fucking peace and tranquility.
Yeah, we see a drugged up, waking up Silco oh, what's going on?
And the operating table is empty.
Yeah,
there is
so for some blood
there.
patterns.
Well, right, yeah, but then Silco kind of I wouldn't say drunkenly.
Drugged. He's groggy.
Yeah, groggily just walks over, sees that it's empty. Looks over, sees the back of Singe, grabs a scalpel and takes it to his neck and is like, what did you do? And all Singe is like, I saved her life, dude.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're fucking welcome.
Yeah, and this is when we have a cute little scene of Heimerdinger running through the Undercity, meeting all the crazy...
Cute's such a
well, he's
word.
Cute. Everyone else is pretty disgusting and drug-filled.
He's a teddy bear. What are you talking about?
Dude, I would not want to snuggle with that.
He is the size of a teddy bear.
Yeah, it looks like a little... what's it called? Brussels Griffin.
Wait. What you mean to say is he's a gummy bear, bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Yes, he's a very furry gummy bear.
Yeah.
Well, no, but seriously, you see Heimerdinger, someone who's lived in the... It's not called the Undercity. The opposite of Undercity is...
Piltover.
Is it just called
Piltover? The city's
Piltover?
called Piltover, yeah.
Oh,
which
okay.
just means because it's...
I thought they called it Overdwellers or something like that.
Topsiders?
Topsiders, yes.
Yeah.
A Topsider who has lived and founded Piltover for the first time ever is taking a look at the Undercity.
Yeah, finally.
And he's distraught because everyone's like, get the fuck out of the way. Hey, yeah, beat the shit out of everyone. And the one time, a little girl was like, oh no, my toy broke. Heimerdinger in his Heimerdinger ways.
Yeah, no, it's actually probably some yodel magic.
he just goes like Heimerdinger, Kulim Pa.
No! Thanks a lot, Chris. Now I can't stop imagining him in tight green spandex with a red Speedo.
You're welcome.
But then, he does his what's he called again?
A yordle.
A yordle?
Yeah.
Yordle of turtle?
Yeah, a yordle.
Yeah, a yordle. Doing his magic yordle ways, fixes the toy, and immediately the mom's like, "Get away from her, you freak!"
Yeah, you freaking weird.
And Heimerdinger's just like,
"Oh, I'm sad." This city's fucked up.
He returns to the Bridge of Progress, and as he's there, he's just looking over.
He looks around and he sees a weird hoverboard, and he sees a weird kid, oh, what's going on? He's like, oh, hey.
Yeah, he's like,
there's a guy who's hurt over here.
And it's Echo.
A hurt guy.
It's Echo. You find out it's Echo. So
Yeah.
but I told that I told these two guys when we were watching it. I'm just like, after the explosion, he'll be back in season 2, and I was wrong because he came back in the next episode.
Yeah, we see him and his board are damaged, and Heimerdinger's impressed with the ingenuity of this board. He's kind of like, oh wow, how did you make this thing? It looks so cool. Like, but these turbos won't really work in this up in this area. He's like, oh, they're made for the Undercity. It's the air sticker down there. He's like, you made this yourself? You're a really cool inventor. And also, it looks like you need some medical assistance. He's like, oh, you're Professor Heimerdinger from the university. So they do know him even down there in the Undercity.
And you know, it's just like, what are you doing on this side of the street? And you know, Heimerdinger's like, I'm not feeling welcomed here because I wanted to see what the situation was. It's like, hey, you and me are both in the same light. We ain't welcomed around here.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, look, you just make sure you don't break it. But if you can take me to, you know, my place, my home, I can show you everything. I can get the medical attention, whatever.
Yeah. And this is when we cut to a very funny scene of Jace talking to Mbessa while she's in the bath.
Yeah, Mbessa just in the bath, like fucking stark naked, just with a towel over her eyes, and Jace being the gentleman looking away.
Yeah, and that twink escort still giving her back massages.
I love it because as they're talking, she's like, "Dear, you can go harder.
Yeah.
I won't break." I'm like, he's a twink. He can probably not go that much harder. But she brings up what was his name?
General Pillock or something.
Yeah, General Pillock.
Yeah, he's like he would always meet his enemies in battle with blindfolded, so because the mind's not hiding behind the body, and he would be going instinct. And you seem to be like that with the council. You're the mind. You're hiding behind the body for some reason. And so he's saying like, I have work to do. Like he's like, hey, if you guys don't quell your Undercity, you're gonna get destroyed. And he says like, you know what the success rate for people in the academy is? 3%. We're no like
we know
failure is. Yeah, so we know what this is going on.
And then she's like, hold on a second.
Like, you need to make Hextech weaponry before this gets more out of control.
I just love this. I love it because she's like, hold on. She stands up,
naked
and of course Jason's like, Jason's like, hey, you don't want to. I'm trying to help you guys out. You need to make West. Yeah, I see why my daughter likes you. You're so determined with the youthfulness. I have experience. You don't want to be like the general. You know. Well, how did she say it exactly?
And you don't want to end up like General Pillock, slaughtered with your eyes closed.
Yeah, slaughtered with your eyes closed. Now, do you?
Yeah.
And he just leaves with that, really.
Yep, and this is when we cut to the council meeting again, talking about Marcus being dead and killed. Like, oh, maybe Marcus was acting alone. He maybe didn't have any contacts. Maybe they killed him. He was corrupt. Like now they know that he was corrupt somehow, but they're probably just from Jason's research, and saying like the Undercity is actively attacking us. We cannot sit by and let them get away with this shit. And saying, oh, maybe he wasn't working with anybody. He could have just been like an one-off incident.
And then that's when Caitlin and Vi walk in.
Like, nope, he's running with Silco, the industrialist. And they're like, we researched Silco. And like, nope, we have proof. And this is when Mr. Kimber's like, oh, yeah, my daughter, she's going to make a speech here. I told you guys about this.
She has I told you guys about this. She's got some interesting insight. And then, she's like, this is Vi. She's from the Undercity. Listen to her. She's a people. And they're like, Vi's talking about everything that Silco's been doing, and they don't immediately push her aside with the whole Silco thing, except for that one comment, like, we've already fact checked this guy.
Yeah, and she said who did the research, who fact checked it.
Yeah,
it was Marcus.
And everyone was just like,
Yeah, and then finally they say, do you know, he pulls out the grenade and says, you know who made this? And then Caitlin's kind of like, and then Vi's like, yeah, somebody named Jinx.
Yeah, it's someone named Jinx.
Like, could she make a weapon with the hex tech? And they're like, she's like, yeah, she probably could.
And then they're like, and then Jace, typical calm-mannered Jace. Then we gotta stop him now.
Yeah, we gotta do something. We gotta put an arm together. We gotta make they have chemical weapons out there. Like, well, we have hex tech. We can fucking crush them. And then they're like, we can't do that. We can't make weapons. And this is when Mel finally realized, like, oh, my mom's gotten to him somehow. You can't do that. You can't make weapons. It's gonna be war, and I know war. And that's not a good thing to do.
Right, and it's just like, well, we can't just idly sit by. And the council's like, yeah, no, we can.
Yeah.
We'll
make peace with Sokka.
We're gonna try to make peace, and Vida's not having it.
She's like, are you guys insane? Did you not hear anything she just said? Like, there's no peace. Sokka wants you all dead. He hates all of you guys. There's not going to be able to negotiate anything with him.
And how do they respond to this?
Enforcers,
get this out. And Vi's like, dude, I know you're fucking posh ass doors. I can get out of here myself.
And of
course, Caitlyn just Caitlyn like looks at Mom, and Mom just nods like,
she's like, go.
You might wanna. And so they start she starts following, and is like, wait, hey, Vi, what the hell? I mean, we can still plan this out. And Vi's like, pretty much like, dude, just fucking forget me, dude.
Yeah, this I knew this wasn't gonna work. You guys never give a shit about the Undercity people. And she's like, what about us? And it's like rain breakup scene.
Oil and water.
Just forget about me, kid. Put your head up and box away.
Just forget about me, kid. As she walks onto an
I'm
airplane.
no good for your doll face. Don't worry about me anymore.
As she walks on a plane to this Casablanca all over again. But yeah, and then it's just not gonna work. She walks away, and Caitlyn is not happy with this.
And this is when we finally cut to Victor after the experiments with the Hextech device.
He puts his cane down, his crutch down, and you notice that his leg that he was working on is looking a little different.
It looks like a weird metally
metal stone kind of thing. He
looks
like he's like part elemental.
Yeah. Well,
and also, so he just breathes, and then he without the crutch, he starts running, and as he's running in the background. Because symbolism is a thing in this.
Symbolism.
You see a boat in the background, and you see Victor running faster than the boat.
Yeah.
Gee, like when he couldn't run faster than the boat as a kid.
Yeah, his toy boat he couldn't. Now he's not running a real boat because he's supercharged with it. He's like running and screaming and feeling the joy of it. And then cut back to the lab. He's slamming his tools down. He's slamming the shimmer device down. He's just like, okay, I'm gonna fix everything with this goddamn crazy hex core, which is looking crazy now and all like evil and webby and covered in magic.
And of course, he starts working more, like putting
the shim core now.
Yeah, the shim core.
The shim core starts like carving into his own arm, I believe it was this time.
More of his
and
body.
as he's doing all this, he starts injecting himself with the shimmer, and he starts to go and touch it.
Yeah,
but then as
he's out of shimmer as well because he doesn't have it anymore.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he couldn't do it. So he figured, I don't have shimmer, but I can still do this.
Yep, and this is intercut with the research assistant Sky, who's been kind of a background character until now.
A background character who kind of has the hots for Victor.
Yeah.
Hey, Victor, I was thinking
she's practicing how to express her experimentation that she's planning on doing to him as she's walking down the aisle, just like, okay, Victor, this is what we can do. Victor, this is my idea. And she's like rehearsing how she wants to say this, but it's also alluding to the fact that she is interested in him and does want to pursue a romantic relationship with him possibly. But as she finally enters the room, she sees him in his underwear getting blasted by his crazy magic. And
she goes to try and stop him, try to pull him out. And as she starts to pull him out, it's slow motion, Victor, no! Victor looks like it doesn't say anything, but has that look like, Sky, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing in here?
Then she's like, Victor, and then poof.
Yeah.
Literally poof. Like a disintegration spell from Vecna.
Yeah, just completely evaporates.
Yep.
Or
nice there, like I said.
Yeah, sorry for the background noise.
But anyway, yeah.
But she literally just disintegrates into dust.
Yeah, absolutely, completely into dust.
She looks and says, "I don't feel good, Mr. Victor," and it turns into dust.
Yeah, and he gets zapped back, and he finally wakes up.
He wakes up.
He sees her completely a pile of dust with just her lab coat and her glasses left.
And only his hand was transmuted.
Yeah. I don't think ever since Buddy had anything on it, did it?
No, it was just, I think it was his entire arm, but he, only his hand got changed, and all of a sudden he's just, freaking out because, oh my god.
He sees what happened with the hex core, and he kind of, limps, he pulls himself up on one of his, seating stools, and attempts to, destroy it with the chair, but you also see
Right now, the hex core, when you look at it, it looks much more fleshy.
It's much more webby, and if you're a fan of League, it looks like it's definitely filled with some kind of void magic, like the void champions are, and it's just, weird, black, gooey, venom-looking material all over it now, and he lifts up the chair to try to destroy it. And you see them actually it rear back away from the chair, it literally is thinking and is afraid of what he's about to do to it, and he can't because he's physically exhausted, but also maybe he's not willing to do it. He turns around, and then the Vice guy just like, alright, gets angry, charges up and zaps him and knocks him out unconscious. So this thing is very CP.
Meanwhile, we see Jace back at the forge working on a hammer.
Yeah.
Not just like a hammer that he puts in the hands of people. We're talking like his iconic hammer.
Yeah, he has a gigantic. He's like melting in the around one of the hex gemstones, and he's working in it. We see around the corner, Vi comes in and says, "Hey, you're the only person in that council meeting who was actually talking sense."
And at first he's like, "Get out of here, you understand?
I'm gonna send you. I could have the enforcers arrest you." And she's like, "Have you ever been to Stillwater? Do you know what prison does to a person after years of being in there?"
He actually chills the fuck out of that because he's just like, "Dude, yeah, no."
So you just like wave your hand, send people off to there, and just never think about them again. He's like, raises his finger.
Yeah, puts finger down. Yeah. And of course, she pulls. Vi pulls the dude. Caitlyn, the first person she wanted to see that could help. Yeah. She said, You were the one who was gonna help. What the fuck was that back there? You want help in taking Soko down? I can help you with that.
But the council, she's like, fuck the council. It's just like,
the council won't approve of it. Fuck the council. You apparently are against what their decision was.
Yeah.
Come on.
As she's looking around lab, she sees
puts one of the fucking Atlas gauntlets on.
Yeah, she says, "What's this for? Like making so people knows you when you raise your hand in the boardroom." And he's like, "Those are for mining." She's like, "Oh, I just knew somebody who used to be a miner and use gauntlets like these." And says, "So, are you gonna really do something, or are you just gonna sit around like all those other assets?"
So, what do you think, pretty boy? Puts out the Atlas gauntlet hand to like shake his hand,
and he's just like, "Oh, okay."
And then, later in one of the fucking Shimmer production lines, you just see a whole bunch of enforcers. Led by Jace, just like getting ready, gas masks and everything.
Yeah,
getting ready to arrest a whole bunch of people who are working on the Shimmer factory.
Yeah, they crash one of their trains full of the Shimmer, stopping it from being transported. They start raiding and gathering up all the workers. One kid worker kind of knocks one of the enforcers over, runs to a alarm and hits it, setting off these gigantic chem monsters. I forgot what they're called.
Shimmer beasts.
Chem big daddies.
Yeah.
Chem big daddies.
Chem daddies. The chem daddies.
Apparently, the actual term is chem tanks.
Yeah, the chem tanks.
Now, but you know what? I like yours better. Chem big daddies. Or wait a minute. They're chem daddies.
I just said that, Ben. I literally just said that.
I'm gonna take credit for it. Chem daddies.
But anyway, they start activating. Then they're super strong and super fast, and they just have these giant big daddy suits with these giant blades on them.
Only they're a hell of a lot faster.
Oh, they're insanely faster running across. They're literally like ninja running across walls and fucking slicing up all the enforcers.
And what the hell happens? We get hammer and fist. The one fight scene in this episode.
Oh yeah, we see sliding down one of the big giant banisters, Vi with her giant gauntlets, and she just jumps off and does her fucking launching punch main ability from League, and just smashes the shit out of one of them, sends him flying across the building, and then it's just a fucking full ass battle of her doing her super fist moves, knocking the shit out of these guys, a ton of Mortal Kombat X-ray moves of just limbs and chests being completely exploded with this.
And of course, we have Jace turning on his fucking bubble barrier, and then as the fight goes on, you just see Jace pick up his fucking hammer like a fucking gun, and he starts shooting you.
Yeah, just Gatling big giant beam blast like Dragon Ball Z style.
And he keeps going, and it's all going well.
Blasting all
the music stops when he hits that same fucking kid.
Yeah, that one idiot kid who was around there for some reason still.
And then the kid, got shot by energy.
Yeah.
So he falls, or they, I should say,
it's a boy. It's
he falls over and falls from a very, very high drop. Yeah. And then you just see, it just cuts to Vi and Jace at the bottom, looking around, and you see that kid is gasping for air, still fucking alive.
Yeah, he has to be completely all bones and everything in him completely pulverized at this point. But then he finally, of course, the light once again fades out of his eyes, and he is Dunzo.
He's dead.
And of course, Jace, you see tears in Jace's eyes of what the hell he's just done.
And he looks around and he sees all the workers that are being arrested. Mostly are kids, really.
Yeah, there's a lot of kid workers there.
Yeah, and of course Jace is we're done. We're not doing this anymore. Vi's wow. The kid knew exactly what he was doing. You got one dead kid.
Oh, not yet. That's next episode.
Oh, is that an
Yeah. It ends with him looking around, seeing all the kids, tears in his eyes, and Vi kind of coming up behind him.
And then it cuts to Caitlyn.
Caitlyn having sexy shower thoughts about
because every show needs
breakup
to have
with
that. And just thinking of, she's like, I want to concentrate on on Silco and his evil doings, but I can't stop thinking of that Vi ass.
Yeah, just literally playing back the scene in reverse of Vi instead of walking away, coming back to her, and she's just like, biting her lip, thinking about, like, damn, I love that Vi so much.
And then she gets out, and, you see her, like, drying out, but as she looks at her giant-ass mirror, you see fog from, like, the heat of the shower, like, go on the mirror, and you see Monkey.
Yeah.
You see Caitlyn, like, looking around, like, what the fuck? Like, in the view of her in the mirror.
Yeah.
Just, like, looking around, and just off in the corner somewhere, you see pink glowing eyes.
Pink eyes, just like,
and it's just like,
oh, shit.
gas, cut.
Yeah, fucking
and
horror
then,
scene. Literally a horror scene. End of episode. Ooh, boy, I fucking love this episode to death.
Dude,
This honestly, this might be my favorite episode of the series. Just between all the cuteness between Caitlyn and Vi, but then also I'm about to go off about Noxus in a second. And then also just the whole fucking, finally we get to see two of the heroes get their main weapons and actually show how ridiculous these fucking champions in this game are compared to like regular humans.
Yeah, they were on the same team, and that's how you play League of Legends. That shows that scene. This is how you play it. I'm just
Teamwork.
fucking with you.
Oh no, we get some toxic teamwork next episode at the beginning. But no, it's just like them actually kicking so much ass together, and it's such a fucking cool ass fight scene. It's probably the best fight scene one of the best fight scenes in the whole show.
I'll agree.
Yeah. I love
like
this.
all of the fucking fight scenes were amazing.
The chem tanks are so fucking cool, but then they're just like they're nothing compared to like the fucking actual characters. They still get their asses completely crushed. It was so fucking fantastic. What was your guys' favorite parts of the scene before
obviously the fight scene was good, but the fact that just because of part one, and and part two, I fucking hate Caitlyn's mom. Because it's like, oh, I'm a bitch. I only think about money and investing. In part two, oh, I'm not a total, as Chris said, actually, oh, I'm not a total bitch because I gave him money. And in this one, she actually was able to step up and be like, you know what? You're my daughter. I actually am willing to hear what you have to say. So I'm going to talk to the council. And of course, it was just like, my daughter, I told you guys this. And everyone's like, what? Oh, yeah, okay. But yeah, like just seeing that kind of development going from rich posh, fuck you, I have money, to, oh, I'm not a bitch because money, to, yeah, I'm actually going to listen to my daughter.
Yeah, she's
like
really
that was good.
I don't know if she kicked in the door with the gun.
Great scene right there. Hey, she cares about her daughter at least.
Yeah.
And this actually, for the first time, she actually showed it in this. But Ambessa, her just like, because you see, like, you already know she's kind of a towering kind of woman in that flashback, but just seeing her in the sunlight, like, that is Matt's type. That is a woman who, when she says you're doing this, you say yes, because that woman will crush you.
Like the epitome of strong, powerful woman who don't need no man.
Yeah.
And yet she takes what she wants. looks at tiny.
Look
at
twink boy.
She's absolutely the kind of woman who knows what she knows what she wants and she fucking takes it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like the animated show, The Justice League?
Yeah.
It's like Diana with Batman, only cranked to a possible 10.
I was gonna say, you're really not gonna reference, what the hell is her name? Is it Destruction? Or from freaking Young Justice with Simon.
Oh, yeah! Devastation and Simon!
That big sexy brain of yours.
No, and here's why. Because Destruction actually had a tenderness for Simon.
Yeah.
No. Ambessa and Diana, they were like, dude, we're Amazonian women.
That twink's about
if
to
we
get
wanted,
destroyed. What was that? I want that twink destroyed.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, Miss, I forget Ambessa's last name again.
Medarda, it's Mel's last name, Medarda.
But I don't remember that name. Medarda. Oh, Miss Medarda. And she's like, I'm gonna destroy the fuck out of this one's pelvis. This one's pelvis is going to die. Oh, it is. She's literally like, death by Snoo Snoo. Oh no. But yeah, dude, just not just that. That's an interesting choice they've made with it. But the fact that we finally got an outside source coming into Piltover and trying to put the other country's influence, like and we already know from that flashback and from how Mel spoke that this is a warring, like a conquering kind of country, and she's just like trying to sink her hooks into Mel. After Mel didn't work, she tried to do it with Jace. It didn't work, obviously. But she's still fucking trying, and she's just like, it's like, good, we needed this, because it can't just be about Jace being like, I'm just indecisive. Yes, I still hate Jace, by the way. But no, it's like someone else is like, yeah, you've kind of made a splash here, and we answered the splash. We want to enter the splash zone.
Oh, no. God.
Hey, that Twink wanted to be there too. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, Chris, what do you think of the episode?
Also quite good. I don't really have any additional thoughts. I know it's kind of thing. Oh well, it was interesting to see like Jinx's like transformation with the Shimmer. I'm guessing that's how she mostly is in the game, and like she has pink eyes and all that.
Yeah, the pink eyes and the crazy movement.
Yeah, she is now like her iconic self.
Yeah, more
like
pale
what
than
everyone
before.
knows.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still younger, I think, than in the game.
She'll be a little bit older before she gets
right, but
this
more like
pale, crazy,
iconic.
bright blue bright pink eyes, and just like super.
Oh my god, just the detail they did with her going through all of that.
Yeah. Also, this was another Jinx Light episode too.
Also, I'm not really sure. Okay, so like in the scene where Silco like brings her in and just like heal her, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm not sure if it's like, would he have any like. Well, I'm trying to think of like his ultimate motivation for doing that. Like, was there anything that would have like motivated him that wasn't selfish, or did he genuinely think like, this is my fucking daughter, heal her?
No, yeah, I think that he, at this point, if it's not clear enough, he genuinely very much cares for her as a daughter and father. And she will be his undoing, as we see. But I think he genuinely really does care about her more than anything else. As much as he cares about his plans and his ambitions for the city and Zaun and all that, I think he does truly, really, really love Jinx as a daughter. As bad as both of them are and as toxic as they both are, I think that it is like a genuine father-daughter love for them, too.
You think so?
I think so.
Dude, like, honestly, I've had that feeling since, like, part 2. But this scene right here, like, the way he literally saw the devastation, and the first thing he thought of, he did not pick, like, when he saw Jinx lying on the ground, he did notice the gemstone in her hand. He did not pick up the gemstone. He picked her up. He didn't even think about that gemstone. He thought of Jinx right there.
But I'm wondering if he if it was more like he just sees her as like one of his most valuable assets, and has to say the right things to keep her on his side. Maybe I'm just being overly cynical, but
no, it could. That's still 100% a read that people will have, even like after the finale. Like what happens at the finale, there's still people are like, oh, did he really care about her? And also, there are still people arguing online like if there was a romantic thing to their relationship, despite everything.
Yeah.
But then also, I still think like it's genuine father-daughter love. But they are both still toxic, insane psychopaths, both of them.
Oh yeah,
who love to murder without caring, without giving a single shit. But I do think that between them, that there is a strong father-daughter love between them.
Indeed, I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Okay, now it's my turn. Noxus, the fucking best place in all of League of Legends.
Time for Matt to get his heart on.
Yeah. I'm already rock hard thinking about Noxus. No. I'll be quick. There's multiple continents and nations or whatever in League of Legends, but the most largest there is with the most possible landmass is Noxus. They have like several continents under their control, and Noxus is made up of 3 types of people: gladiators who love to fight and kill, barbarians who love to conquer, fight, and kill, and then any and all dark magic using wizards
Who love to kill.
who love to kill. And and they have like all of the dark types, like all the heroes from Noxus. They are like quote unquote. They're not the quote unquote evil group because they do go to other kingdoms, destroy the kings, and say no, you're free, your colonies now, you have your own government and all that. But they are conquerors and they do love to take over countries, and like a lot of the stories of the other like continents like Demacia or Ionia or Shurima are like Noxus is invading and we need to fucking try to stop them. The main thing I love about them is because like the hero I use for my main deck in the Runeterra and stuff is their magic users are hemomancers, which manipulate blood, ferromancers who can manipulate metal, pyromancers, of course, that's obvious, but then a lot of demon summoning and demon possession. They have a lot of demons in their nation. They have also their Vestire
So
are like actual minotaurs. Yeah, they have actual they have like huge amounts of minotaur for the Vestaya who are like huge and strong and powerful. Their Yordles are fucking insanely hilarious. Like General Kled, who's like this crazy one-eyed pirate general with like a southern accent, like kill them all, da 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 da. He's like super powerful.
Said pirate and then southern accent.
Yeah, pirate. No, he's just like a pirate because eye patch, but he's like and there's like Rumble, who's like a mech building Yordle, and there's just tons of really cool characters from that country. And the person, she said, she stepped in the wrong... Also, tons and tons of assassins. They have a huge assassin network, and they love killing people. But, like I said, it's my favorite nation in all of these, my favorite place. That's why I wanted Season 2 to more focus on, because there is a large plotline of Noxian people coming in and trying to infiltrate the Undercity and rile them up to fight the upper people in Piltover and stuff like that.
If Mel grew up in that country, how does she understand the concept of mercy?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Right?
it's really fun, and they love. Yeah, like I said, they love conquering. My favorite characters are from there. It's my favorite like country in all of League, and I love the characters from there. It's really fun. And when they said your brother's dead, he crossed the wrong man, my mind went through like every hero. Like, okay, it could be Draven, it could be Darius, ooh, it could be Swain, ooh, it could be this character, ooh, Vladimir. I'm just like, oh, there's all these fucking cool ass heroes. I'm like, I want any of them to come in with even a small cadre of their fucking people into Piltover next season to just completely fuck shit up, because they are all like super badass warriors and like fucking, like I said, dark wizards and badass gladiators and barbarians. And it's really fucking cool. And like that's what she said in the first season. Mel was just like, oh, you're the richest person in Piltover. And she said, I'm the poorest Medarda. Because fucking people in fucking Noxus, they live real fucking rich. And they don't have, like, they don't, like, do poor people. If you're poor, you're, like, in an army. And you're just killing all the time. It's fucking fantastic.
The entire time you were like, the brother died, you're like, it could have been this person, this person. I literally only heard...
yeah.
Like, God damn, dude.
Magic got big boner for Noxus. I am super hyped for next season for them to come, because I would have loved for the second series to go to any other country and follow like another group of like 7 or 8 heroes like this show does for Piltover and Zaun, just like anywhere else. But if it's gonna still be in Piltover next season, which they said that next season will be, I'm like, I want some other characters from other countries to come there and fuck up.
Yeah,
shit.
like, you know, some new characters, some people that are.
Yeah. But like, I love the tone and the setting and the like aesthetic of Noxus and all the people from there, and I'm
especially
really
now that we'll get to that because I almost did a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No. I fucking love Noxus, and I want them to fuck shit up in the next season, and I'm really glad that they got all their shout-outs. I think that no other country gets as much of a shout-out as Noxus in this series, so I'm like, fuck yeah, bring all the characters you can in, please.
Please, yeah.
Fucking awesome. But also, there is one character who I think people are fan theorying might be related to the Medardas. Her name is Rel, if you can Google her really quick. She has a very, like, similar aesthetic. Look up Rel in League of Legends. To Mel. Their names are similar. She's also another black person from Noxus, so I'm like, oh, they must be related.
Rel, and the first thing I see is Rel the Iron Maiden.
Yeah. That's another character I love using on the League game, so I hope she comes in. Because if she could, at this time, be a child. She's really young. But, like, she could be related to Mel, because, like, the aesthetic, and also, like, a ton of the stuff about them. So I would absolutely love for her to come into the show. Yeah.
Wait, is she... Yeah, she's totally got, like, a fucking... Dude, she's like a cavalier with a fucking lance and a fucking, like, iron steed, literally.
Yeah, she's one of the Ferromancers. She made that steed out of armor of people she killed on the battlefield. So she literally makes that, like, she, like, controls a metal horse made out of, like, armor from people she's killed. And I fucking want... I'd love for... But the main thing, spoiler alert about her, is that she kills her family. And she's seeking revenge against Noxus because of the torturous upbringing she had in that country. And she may or may not be related to Mel, which is what I'm hoping for.
I like how you're like you were explaining what hemomancy was, and I'm like, yeah, it's bloodmancy. Yeah, that's blood magic. I knew that.
Yeah, no, but hers is ferromancy with the metal and iron and stuff.
Now, when you said the metal,
ferromancy,
as in Ferro.
Ferro, yeah.
Yeah, okay, ferromancy. Okay, sorry, because when you said ferromancy, I thought of pheromones.
That'd be something else. I'm
sure.
Whatever
the
Latin word for smell is.
But then you said iron, I'm like, iron, and I couldn't think of it until just now when I was thinking.
I can just imagine, like if it turns out Rel is actually like Mel's sister, like someone just like figures out that distinction, just looks at it and boss up like Rel and Mel. Fucking really?
I'm not creative.
You're that like you're those kinds of parents.
And Bessa's just like, look, I'm strong. I can take whatever I want by force. Never said I had to have the brains for it.
But yeah,
she's got the cunning, not the brains.
Yeah, but yeah, I fucking him. So, and also, yeah, less necromancy.
I'm fucking him, huh?
Yeah, I'm fucking him. No, I love like there's a lot of like I said, dark magic and demons and stuff from that country, but also a lot of necromancy, and I really want to see them come in. Anyway, that's my fucking long spiel. I've been holding it for the past 3 episodes.
he really
I'm
has,
fucking
actually.
horny as hell for Noxus.
Dude. The moment Noxus was mentioned in the previous episode that we recorded for this guy was just like.
Oh, and also the Immortal Bastion is just like their Capitol building. That's why it was important she was painting it in that last episode.
Well, now we're here. We made it to this point. We are finally going to cover the season finale, the final episode of the final part of season 1. And this doesn't pull any punches.
Oh, hell no.
Well, episode 9 of part 3 of season 1. The monster you created. Wow, Chris, you joined us in this time.
Hell yeah.
What do you...
Come on, man.
Oh, hi, Chris. So how's your sex life?
Okay.
Jace is, mourning the child.
Kid.
And as Jace is mourning the kid, Vi's like, hey, yo, look. The kid knew what he was getting into. I just, we got to move forward. And Jace is like, we're fucking done here. We're done here. I murdered a kid. There's a whole bunch of kids. Fucking can't do this. As someone does want to do because he fucking murdered a child. He didn't mean to, but he did. And that's the whole point of this. And, Vi's like, dude, are you fucking serious right now? You killed, so what? You killed one kid. If you didn't do what you did tonight, more kids would have died. Like, pretty much trying to give him, look at the big picture kind of thing. And he's just like, I'm not having this. No, sorry. Give me those gloves back. We're done doing this.
Like we're not doing this anymore. This to the production factories.
Right, and he's like, the other point he made was, I'm now a part of this. I'm part of the council, and I'm a part of this shenaniganery. And so he's like, yeah, give me those gloves. You can't have them. And Vi's like, oh, what are you gonna do? Make me? And they start getting ready for a fight. And in the background,
fight. Well, let's do a fight.
But no. Unfortunately, the enforcers are not like your D&D campaigns where everyone is like fight. No, there's enforcers looking like oh shit, this is getting real. This is getting fucking real. And Jace just stops with the hammer and just walks away and says, "You're not gonna do this. You can't do this.
You're not gonna succeed on your own. Don't worry about it."
And of course, Vi just walks over to this big old refinery of fucking I almost called it Silco for some reason. Shimmer.
A refinery of Silcos.
Yeah, Silco.
And just punches it.
It's like the last, what's it called? Rise of Skywalker, a big vat full of Silcos.
Yeah, oh god, no. And then it cut to a few hours probably later, where you see Savika, Rainey, and Finn,
and Silco,
and Silco just sitting here looking at all of this damage. Rainey is distraught because apparently that kid that was killed was her kid.
Yeah, and also we see Savika's like, wow, Topside has not been this bold in fucking forever.
Yeah, and Silco's like,
the late sheriff didn't have his uses, I guess.
Yeah, the sheriff was an idiot, but at least he didn't at least he prevented this from happening. And Finn's just like, oh yeah, look at you. Let me guess, Jinx is going to save us, huh? Yeah, what are you going to do to clean up this mess? And even Rainey's like, yeah, I want fucking blood for this.
Yeah.
she's a crime lord, but her fucking kid died.
Yeah,
I understand where she's coming from.
Well, of course, to that Silco is like, well, I'm glad he died for the cause and not like just for some stupid fight like most people down here do. So don't forget that. Bye. Deal with that. You literally tell Civica, scrape up that kid. I'm out of here. And then, of course, once again, Finn kind of looks her annoyingly, flicks his letter again, looks at her saying, "Oh, see, I told you." We gotta betray him.
Victor is now grieving because of Sky's dead.
Yeah, he's on. Is he on?
We didn't get enough of Sky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was gonna say. This is one of the major criticisms of the show. Like a negative criticism is that Sky was pretty much like fridged before Victor's storyline.
Right.
You know that they like that term from like the old comic thing where like.
No, I know what fridging is.
Yeah, it's like
Actually,
whatever.
I don't.
It's a term. It was originally from a Green Lantern comic where some villains like killed one of the Green Lantern's girlfriends and like chopped her up, stuffed her in his fridge, and like it was like a crazy comic panel when he opened it and he found out, he was like, oh no, it's so terrible. But now it's become like a trope that a lot of people, including like feminists and stuff like that, use for like a character, typically a female or love interest, who's not a really developed character, is killed off just to like push forward a male character's plot or another character's plot.
Oh, like the characters themselves are just a MacGuffin.
They're pretty much just a MacGuffin to like advance another character's plot, and typically it does happen to like spouses or girlfriends, like the whole Seven, like what's in the box thing, where like Gwyneth Paltrow just killed to like a big twist at the end. Spoiler alert. But well, you're never gonna watch Seven. It's a good movie, but on your.
Oh no! I mean, just like I was just thinking about like, wow, they did Sky dirty.
They really did.
Yeah, people did say that like if she was more of a character, if she had more screen time, if her relationship with Victor was developed more. But like this is like the only thing I've ever heard people like negatively say is like, yeah, Sky's storyline was really like,
and it really was
upended,
because all she
like,
was a background
character.
character.
For a show that's filled with so many incredibly female characters, she could have been a more like significant role to Victor and Jace's experimental storyline.
They could have shown more because like she's like, hey, in that one scene where he's like first doing like this research, she's like, hey, you gonna leave soon? Maybe.
Or like, oh wow, Victor, you're so smart, and he's just like, yes, I'm researching.
Yeah,
science.
pretty much. It's just like, but this is still like this is after the disintegration.
This is when she's already been. This is when he's like. This is way later where he has her ashes in a canister. And
No.
It's not that part yet.
No,
because
you jumped because this is the scene where
and he tries to destroy and it zaps him.
Yeah, where he's like, oh no, you see like the thing pulsating.
Yeah.
And then as he's walking away, the fucking void core, flesh core thing like zaps him.
Yeah, you're right. I stole the scene out of context.
Yeah, we do that all the time.
Of course.
I mean, you were really excited because you wanted to talk about Noxus.
Yeah, Void dimension. I didn't think this was go off about the Void. Well, see, the Void is this other dimension that's made up of old god energy, and it existed before reality, and blah 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 blah. I don't care, so I'm not going to go into it. But it's a league thing. Don't worry. There are a bunch of heroes from there. They're made out of goo and like venom monsters from another dimension.
Well, after he gets zapped by that, Ambessa's just like, oh, I'm so luxurious. I love doing this. Mel walks over. It's like, oh, Mel. Like, of course, Ambessa's like that wine.
The wine here is not as strong as Noxus, but...
yes, it's not as good. It's not as strong as Noxian wine, but Mel walks in. Oh, my daughter, please! Smacks cup out of hand.
Gets all over the twink. He's just like, ugh! He's like, oh,
and she's like, and Mel looks, get out. The twink
looks at Ambessa like,
and Ambessa's just like grumpy, like, God damn it, just go.
He got slicks off. You ruined my twink.
Yeah, how dare you ruin my Twinkie? And of course the twink's just like, fuck, I'm out. And of course Mel's just like, you get the fuck away from my man.
Yeah, I know. She's like cracking up at the lobster and like drinking up the lobster inside. It's really gross and funny.
And of course she's like, yeah, and she's like, hey, just so you know, you gotta weaponize that hex tech. Yeah, you gotta do it. You gotta protect yourself.
And this is when she mentions, like, I also jumped the gun with this, and she mentions, like, the person who killed your brother, he's kind of doesn't think that the score is settled, and he's kind of coming after our family, and whoever this is, probably some league champion, could probably easily crush us. So we need those hex tech weapons, please. Make him make the hex tech weapons.
maybe it's Rel.
Oh God, that'd be Rel's. Well, that's in the future. She's like a kid in the future, so that's...
Anyway.
But anyway, no, it could be like any number of characters that are incredibly powered, incredibly influential, that could easily destroy this family with like a step of their fingers.
And she's just like, and Bess is like, this is happening. We need the hex tech. No, you're not getting it. Look, You literally banished me here. Yeah, you needed to become stronger so you can take the family name. Yeah, except for you, I didn't become you're part of your family because the moment you booted me out. Well, maybe I booted you out because you were the reason why I was so weak. What? Yeah. I looked in your eyes and I couldn't come face myself with you.
Every time she made a tough decision to keep the family safe, she was always upset with her and she couldn't take that anymore.
Yeah.
A fun little development from Bessa. Every character is multidimensional.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I really couldn't just do this shit. So you just look, I want to bring you back home.
Yeah, you can come back home
You've
if
changed.
you settle this shit.
Settle this shit and you can come back.
Yeah.
And then we get you're talking about with Victor
on the overhanging pipeline thing.
And he's just like, hey, sorry, Sky, I don't know where you wanted, and he just pours a canister of ashes down and then just throws it.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't know where you wanted to be buried. I guess I didn't know you enough. And
he stands up and he's like, looks like he's about ready to fucking
he's kind of nudging towards the overhang.
And
kind of
Jace is like, am I interrupting? Chris said it best. It's like, am I interrupting? Chris? Yeah, you're interrupting my fucking suicide.
Yeah. Also, there's a callback to the second episode when Jace was also on the edge about to walk off, and Victor was like, am I interrupting? And pulled him back from the edge. So it's a nice little thing of their friendship.
And of course, they're just talking, and so like, dude, everything's gone to shit. And Victor's like, yeah. I can't stop the hex core on my own.
Yeah, he said he has the hammer. He's just like, I don't know where we went wrong. And Victor's like, you need to destroy it. He looks at the hex. He's like, yeah, I do need to destroy this. I'm like, no, the hex core. I can't do it. I need you to destroy it.
Yeah, you need to destroy the hex core because I can't. I physically cannot.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, we've made a whole lot of mistakes.
The great line that everyone quotes from this is just like, where did we go wrong? He says, well, in our pursuit to do great, we forgot to do good.
Yep.
So. Yeah.
And that is one of the quotables.
Yeah.
And so we go back to Soko's office when you just hear a door open. He's just like, I'm busy, even though he's not busy.
Yeah,
and you see Savika, Rainey, and that fucking Finn.
I love Finn's design to death. It's so cool.
His design is cool. Too bad he's a douche ass.
Yeah, he sucks.
And so, it's just like, Finn's just like, oh, look at you, old man. You've declined. It's time for the youngins to take over.
Yeah, also we see, when he walks into the room, Finn first, Savika's behind him. She pulls a chair out from the side and pulls it for Finn. And Finn sits down, and Soko's kind of watching, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
And she kind of just, walks up behind him, and then Finn's going off on his tirade about, you're slipping, old man. You don't know what you're doing, and you're too weak. And then once again, Soko gives one of his amazing speeches about, you know what it's like growing up here, you're too young.
You know what I got? Yeah, you're too young to know what this was like. But you know what really built us before we were an enterprise? Loyalty. I love loyalty. You three, gives a side eye to Savika. You three are really messing with my loyalty thing, man.
Yeah.
But I knew I was gonna die eventually, so if you're gonna do it, just do it. Savika takes her sword, fucking slashes. Rainey is just fucking petrified. You can see in Soko's face that he thought he was about to die because he's panting a little bit.
You're just like, okay.
And you just see Finn just fucking half past decapitate, just bleh.
Yeah, you see the burn mark on his metal jaw, and then it's all the way down his neck, leaving the red bloodline. It's like, oh shit, and it's just cool.
Yeah, and it's great too because in the meeting in the earlier episode of the Chem Baron, what was that, 7?
Yeah, but I believe so.
Yeah, it's like Finn got his warning then and there, and he did not heed it.
Yeah, quite literally. He's just
he did not learn the lesson.
There was why do they never learn? And of course, Soko's like, hey, it looks at Rainey, is like, for this bullshittery that happened, I would have your son killed.
But I guess we're all ahead on that count.
Quite literally, he's like, yeah, but we're ahead on that, so get the hell out.
So many great-ass lines, I swear to God, he's such a fun character.
And of course, Savika just goes back to the front, picks up the fucking lighter that Finn dropped,
moves the chair and drops his body on the ground.
Yeah, right. Soko has his cigar out and she lights it, and he's just like, were you tempted? And she's like, not for a scum like him, but it's not gonna be the last time.
Yeah.
And then we see that there's a letter on the table.
Yep, with a big old hammer stamp on it.
Yep. Apparently it was sent by, everyone knows.
Yeah,
because in the next scene, we see a fucking some kind of.
It's the bridge, I assume.
Yeah.
Like the Vista, yeah. It's like a really strong Vista. He says people forget why we like first formed this country for the threats outside of our borders, and I'm like, oh, what could that mean?
And of course, it's just like they both have like a chit chat, like a battle of wits kind of thing, where it's just like, we used to prosper together. What the hell happened, kind of thing, and just blah 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 kind of thing. And Silco's like, look at you. You're not the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed academy kid, are you?
Yeah.
Well then here, pulls out a piece of paper slowly. Oh. Also, he also mentions, look at you, and no hammer either.
Yeah, it's like perfect place for an ambush.
Yeah.
And you don't have your hammer, huh? And it's just like, he reaches in his coat like a little bit of suspense and then pulls out the note saying, these are my demands.
Yeah, these are my demands.
Yeah.
And he's just like, literally, like, complete and total freedom.
Yeah, Zon, they want to be their own nation, they have their own independence, they can use the Hex, teleport things whenever they want. But they're, independent from Piltover's rule. And he says, well, that's interesting. Okay, well, number one, stop protection of Shimmer. He's like, we're halfway there. You just read my fucking plant.
2, give me the Hex Crystal. It'll be as good. It's as good as yours. And 3, give me Jinx. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's like,
sorry. To quote the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and give us Jinx. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You heard me. Jinx has done a shit ton of bad things.
And he says, hey, all of her crimes are mine. He's like, well, you can't make a deal with the snake and cut its head off, so we need you alive, and she's going to go to prison for the rest of her life.
Yeah, so. And then it kind of changes, because it was, do these 3 things. But then he hands, like, the demands back and says, give us Jinx, and we'll talk about this.
Yeah.
And, of course...
We both have our shitty parts to play, he said.
That's right. Meanwhile...
What was that phrasing? Or that saying, like, you can't make a deal with the snake and cut off its head?
Yeah. Meaning that Silco is the head of the snake. Silco's the one in charge making rules. So when he said, like, they're all my crimes that Jinx did, he's like, well, I can't put you in jail. I'd love to put you in jail, but you need to be here to make sure their shit stays in order. Jinx is a fucking problem. Give me her and you can stay in charge.
So that's what that meant.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was kind of confused.
Yeah, it was like it took me a while before. The deal is with the snake.
You can't make a deal with the snake and then cut its head off.
Yeah. So it's just it was a weird phrasing, but it was like it took me a couple more than one watch. Like, oh, that's what the fuck he meant.
Right. But meanwhile, we actually cut back to Echo and Heimerdinger going to the alcove, the Firelight's alcove, and Heimerdinger, like everyone else, is like everyone who walks into the TARDIS.
Tree? Yeah.
Like, whoa,
bigger on the
it's
inside.
bigger on the inside. But Heimerdinger's just like, wait, how?
Yeah.
And Echo's like, yeah, I mean, when your life's on the line, you can do a lot.
Yeah, you can do a lot of cool ass shit. And he says, well, like, why do you have these weird like fucking hoverboards? This isn't really safe. And he's just like, all right, Firelight's the big facade.
And they're all like, whoa!
Yeah, they all cheer and start flying around, and they're like, see, you need to give them.
It's not enough to give people what they need to survive. You have to give them what they need to live.
Yeah,
is the direct quote.
Yeah, and this scene is one of the ones that makes me more confirms one of the scenes in this arc that confirms he definitely cares about Jinx. He's saying, how much damage she's done so much, and she's given me nothing but problems, and giving her up would solve everything. But geez, Vander, you were right. Fucking daughters, man, they really fuck your life up. It's really difficult.
And he actually had that heartwarming
he pours one out for his homie.
Yeah. For his brother, not his homie.
Yeah, right. Pours one out for his brother.
One for the fam, for mi familia.
Yeah, mi familia.
But he had that heartfelt thing. There was only one issue with it, and that's on the other side of the Vander statue. There was Jinx,
a more feral looking,
who literally just heard the fact about daughters really fuck up your life, and we all know how Jinx and she might take exception to this. We don't know.
Yeah, not just who knows.
But of course he didn't confirm nor deny whether or not he was going to betray her or not.
Yeah.
However, we just see Savika in the last drop.
Yeah, we see a couple chem guards, the chem tank guards outside of the last drop.
Yep, and then we just see her playing cards again, smoking. Everyone's having a good time. Fucking chameleon eyes, lizard frog eye motherfucker who apparently can't see straight. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, he's
puts on a really fucking good
also,
song.
Also, after licks the head of some guy who's just being gross and annoying too. He's like, get the fuck off me, you weirdo.
He's like, hey, it's cool, man. Puts on a really fucking cool song, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And as the song is getting ready to go on, and on the outside you just see flash, 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 and like before the licking of the head, Savika's just like, what the fuck's going on out there? Then you see fucking Bug-Eye McGee like lick that guy. She's like, fucking gross. Then you just see a fucking like as the song's getting ready to play, you see a fucking like one of the chem guards or whatever just fly right through the door and just down, and you just see Vi just walk on in, and she's just like, she is 120% done with this bullshit.
Hell yeah.
Savika's just like, everyone, get the fuck out.
Also, this is another callback to when the kids first came back into the last drop in the first part, when Vander said everyone out. Like, he stood up and, like, everyone immediately could have meaning that, like, yeah, Savika's in charge of the last drop now, like Vander was, and, like, how she got upset with him in the first part about.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of symbolism and mirroring in this show if you watch it multiple times.
Seriously is, yeah. It's just like, get out, everyone. And quite literally, everyone's just like, yeah, we're not going to
get the fuck out of
and
this.
It's funny because when Vi walks in, everyone's staring at Vi. Fucking Bug-Eye McGee is just sitting there like, yeah, looks directly at her, apparently doesn't see her, moves to the side a little bit, and is just like, oh shit, it's her. I'm like, you really can't see straight, can you?
He's just an idiot. But yeah,
even Bug-Eye McGee like fucking books it.
Yeah.
And there are no words. They just both fucking like get ready to go
also,
as the song's playing.
It's also not like stated enough, but Savika has a really, really fucking badass like Clint Eastwood Western aesthetic to her, if you ever pay attention. Between her like weird long cigarette, but also the poncho she was wearing when she was covering her arm.
Poncho, yeah.
And also the bandolier of shimmery that she carries on her. And like the whole like the stance of her like, gunslinger. She's such a fucking cool. I love her design.
Her design is really good.
Very, very fucking fun. I like her. She's like not she's not as like a major character. She's like definitely a minor character in the show, but her whole aesthetic and everything about her being like the muscle for him, second to Jinx, is so fucking cool. She's such a cool character.
She actually really is. Like, I'll get to that at the end of this episode. Yeah. But anyway, it just no words. The song starts playing, and it just fucking starts.
Yeah, she pulls out 2 vials of shimmer out of the bandolier, puts them into her arm, and then fucking Vi with the 2 giant Atlas constants just gotta pumping them up and getting them like ready to fucking throw down. Savika gets pumped on the shimmer, and they start fucking going at it, and it is a really fucking fun.
I think this one specifically is my favorite,
oh,
just because,
so
like, at the beginning, well, the song, yes, which is sad. Bug-Eyes wanted to hear a good song, and he doesn't get to hear it now.
Yeah, you have to get the fuck out of there while shit's
going
down.
But, like, they start beating the shit out of each other, it's all well lit and all that stuff, and of course, Vi eventually gets overpowered, and she's on the ground, and she's like...
Oh, well, since you have to go the whole part of, like, Vi is actively beating the shit out of her, and she, like, picks up a table, punches it, and the fucking anime flies at her, but then Savika pulls out her crazy fucking laser sword, and, like, lasers through the fucking pool table, and actually, like, breaks one of the gauntlets with that crazy laser sword, just, like, shooting actual, like, wave beams at her, and she's actually losing now.
Yep, and she's losing it, and yeah, she gets put down to the count, and all of a sudden you just hear, like, hey, you're dropping your left.
Yeah, come on.
And you see fucking Vander, like a memory of Vander. He's just like, hey, come on, you can get up, you can beat this clown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like she actually stands up, at a girl.
Spits out a tooth.
Spits out a fucking tooth, turns around, the fucking gauntlet that's broken. She, actually, I think it's her right one, actually.
Yeah.
She just fucking drops it, and Savika goes up to, like, actually hit her, and all of a sudden, it's just, like, block... fucking energy shield.
Yeah, another one of her abilities is that shielding on her, yeah.
Yeah, but she uses it for the first time,
and
the energy of both of them causes like a sonic boom, and all of the fucking lights go out. This is what makes it my favorite scene, because I love the fucking flashes of red and blue.
Yeah.
Like, just bam, bam. This is like, they just keep going with this. And I told Matt and Chris this, but what makes this fight my all-time favorite as well is it's like kind of slow motion, except for like all the hits, you usually hit, and it's kind of slow motion. You see Savika, like, she gets fucking blasted back, and she's like flying back, and all you get is all of this is slow motion. The moment Vi grabs her fucking sword arm, and then like there's like a brief stop, and then instantly, blink of an eye, you'll fucking miss it. Like pulls her back in, beats more of the shit out of her, and just fucking belts her.
Yeah, she rips the arm. When she grabs her, she rips the arm off.
Yeah, that's right. She like rips the arm off. I'm just like, fuck.
That's when you knew it was over.
Yeah.
Right? Like, a fight's over when.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, just just the pacing of that entire ride, the way they animated it, because we've already sung the praises of their fight scenes in this.
Absolutely.
But this one right here really felt like a final fight because every little bit of it just lined up so perfectly. They animated it so well, and just the fucking climax, the fucking like end of that fight, it was exactly how it should have ended.
Oh yeah, it was so fucking fantastic. Sevi got upside down, thrown into the jukebox, arm socket bleeding from the whatever the shimmer bleed is from, and it's just a fucking funny ass ending sequence to a fucking amazing ass fight scene.
And of course, you know, Vi just sits down at the bar like I'm.
No, she got like
she
screams like, oh.
Yeah, well, oh yeah, that's right. She does do the scream. Like she finally did it. She gets up and starts catching her breath. And then you see Pink Eyes McGee like pistol whip her in the back of the head.
Yeah, bravo sis, and she knocks her out.
Yeah, bravo sis, bonk. And then we go to a very important council meeting where Victor and Jace are actually there. And I love this because Jace is like, hey, look, I'm not fit to govern people, and neither are you. We all have literally made very, very big mistakes here. Mm-hmm. We all fucked up, and it's time that we kind of drop this whole thing. Oh, what are you going on about? Says like Mrs. Kierman, like blah blah blah. Like actually like reprimands him a little bit. My favorite, the line that made me like Jace. With all due respect, man, but I don't give a shit about what any of you think of me now. I'm like that. That is there we go. Now I'm starting to like you. And he just stands his ground and he's like, "Hey, Victor's like, yeah, see this? Yeah, I kind of we can't really do much with this hex tech, this hex core, whatever, because it's literally fucking with us."
Yeah, it's
and of course, Jace is like, "So, I talked to Silco and I'm going to cut a deal with him." It does the slow motion, everyone getting pissed off, like, this is an outrage, rabble. As that's going on, Vi wakes up tied to a chair.
Specifically in the building where the giant explosion happened in part 1. Yep. Everything's destroyed still from the chem tanks and Vander getting exploded and all that shit. So it's still completely destroyed, and she starts hearing a voice talking to her, saying, "Hey sis, you finally awake." It's just like, we see a ton of shit all over the place. We see Jinx approaching from a staircase, and she's like, "Powder, what the hell's going on? Let me out of here." She's trying to communicate with her sister again.
And of course, Jinx is like, "Yeah, you remember how actually she's like Jinx, huh? Yeah, Silco wants to believe that he created Jinx, with all of his that you need to be better, Jinx. This Jinx and this Jinx, but he didn't create Jinx. You did.
Yeah.
After all that happened, you're the one who created this."
Yeah, this is all like you. And she's like, "I didn't mean to abandon you. I've been thinking about every single." Also, we forgot the little machine that Jinx stole in episode 1 is what lit up like a little birthday candle.
Oh yeah.
And that's what's sparking. And she's just saying like to her like, "Yeah, I didn't mean to abandon you. Every single day I was in that prison, I thought about you, and all I wanted was to get back to meet you again. And I hated every day I was away from you."
And it just goes completely dark there, and you just hear, "Are we still sisters, Vi?" Nothing's ever gonna change that. All the lights turn on. Jinx right in front of my face.
Jump scared.
"I knew you'd be back, sister."
Yeah, she says in like a very
pulls her up to
way.
like this fucking pushes her to a fucking table.
Yeah.
And has some kind of lighter or something.
Just a candle or flare, I think maybe. Yeah.
Probably a flare. I think that's what it is. Like the fucking flare, and then she throws it and lights every fucking candle. And you see at the end, Vi's on one end of the table. At the other end of the table is Silco still passed out, and you see dolls of the others Claggor.
Also, Silco has a gag in his mouth.
He's got a gag on his mouth and everything, and it looks like a party.
Yeah, you see,
but you also see 2 chairs at the end.
One of them, there's the doll of Milo and the doll of Claggor.
Yep.
There's also a seat with Vander's hand glove and a broken picture of their family in it.
Yep. And then there's 2 other chairs.
And also the bunny that she told her about in episode 3 about hey, when I was a kid, some assholes threw this bunny up in the thing, and I always wanted to get it back, and she hasn't. She's like, "Hey,
that too." Yes, there's a lot of references here. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the table, close to where Silco is, there's a chair that says Jinx, and there's a chair that says, I think Powder, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Powder. And then...
was it Vice Rabbit?
Yeah, it was Vice Rabbit.
Yeah, it's Vice Rabbit.
Threw up out of the power lines.
Oh.
And Vi just gave it the powder because, you know, she needed it more than Vi did.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but she says, you know what, there's somebody missing from here. That she kind of
there's someone missing here. She gets, like, one of those, like, silver platters with, like, the dome lid, sets it down.
She's also wearing her big giant glass. Glass glasses.
Right.
And kind of, like, throws them down and, like, shakes her hands like, oh, that was crazy.
Yeah, right. And then she's just like, but I almost said Vi again. Jinx just looks at Vi. I visited your girlfriend today. What did you do? And you know, it's just like that one, like I'm gonna reveal.
Yeah, she
Pops
says.
it up
No,
and
she
you
says.
don't see.
She says.
I made her a snack. I made her a snack. And of course, it's just like, oh, like even Vi looks away, and there's like does the reveal, but it like cuts immediately to Vi.
There's like a quick millisecond shot frame of the bed scene where they were like lying in bed and she was like staring at Caitlyn's face. There's like a quick like millisecond flash of that scene, like her thinking about that.
Like a one frame.
Yeah, one frame, and then she like.
Then it just like looks away, and all of a sudden you just see Vi look down, and you see it's a literal cupcake with the hex gem. Yeah. And Jinx goes, "Wow, I'm not that crazy, sis."
That gag was so fucked up because like I watched like 1,000 reaction videos to like different scenes in this show, and that was one of the number one people. Everyone like freaks out like, "Oh my god! Oh no, my god!"
Yeah, dude, I was one of them too. Like when she's with her, I'm like, "Don't you fucking do this! Don't you fucking do this!" And it was a literal cupcake. I'm like, "Son of a bitch!"
Chris, did you think she was actually killed Caitlyn?
I thought she actually would.
Okay, good. We're all three at the same boat.
I absolutely would not have put it past her.
But then
I didn't think so just because I know Caitlyn's a character from the games.
Like, it's an actual cupcake, but she called Vi earlier. And also, what Vi called her earlier.
Yeah. Also, the running gag about cupcakes is because the Kierman, how they originally made cupcakes, and in the first episode when they're running off those balconies and there's that tray of cupcakes, it is the Kierman building that they're on.
Oh,
and
is that what it was?
Yeah, the Kierman family in the past was known for making cupcakes.
Damn.
And there's like some aesthetics of that.
Damn, now I want a Kierman cupcake.
Who doesn't?
But then, as that fucking fake out happened, you know, just pushes a wheelchair up, and you see Caitlyn is okay, but she's kind of
also with the gag on.
Yeah, with the gag on and bound up.
Yeah, a spray painted smiley face on the gag. And she says, "Okay, well, she hands a gun to her sister and says, if you really love me, you'll send her away, and if you send her away, you can have Powder back." And she's just like everyone's staring around like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
Vi's like, I can't do that.
Yeah, Vi's like, whoa, I can't really do that. And even Soko's like, and what do you have to say about this? Takes the gag out. She's lying.
Yeah.
No, she didn't come for you. She came for that.
Oh no, you forgot that she says I can't kill her, and then Jinx, really upset, grabs the gun, pulls it, and points it at Kate.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Her, like, and she says, "Powder, no!" And then you see that's when he starts mumbling behind the gag. She's like, "What do you have to say?" Pulls it off. She says, "Her name is Jinx. She's not Powder anymore."
Yeah,
and she says like. Jinx, she's lying to you. She'll spend one day with you and she'll realize you're not that little girl anymore and she'll abandon you. Do not trust her. Then this is one of the fucking crazy ass like climax.
Right, yeah, that's right. Because
and she's like, you wouldn't do that, right, Vi? And it's just like yelling at the dolls and firing at one of them and then shoots one of the glasses.
Shut up, we're talking.
Yeah, she's like screaming at the dolls and everyone's like, God damn, this bitch is crazy as hell. And it's just such an intense scene of like all these people at the mercy of this crazy person with multiple guns.
Yeah, and then of course, you know, she's having many hallucinations as Vi and Silco are like trying to talk to her. But she's like trying to shut them up because she
shoots a guy. A broken glass does fall in front of Caitlyn, and we see her kind of eyeing it.
And then as all of this is happening, you know, it's just like, you know, just everything's fucking going to shit. And then, you know, Vi's like, you know, wake up. Wake up,
she's saying, think about Milo and Clagger, but like in her mind, all she sees is like her horror, traumatized, and like by harassing her bully versions of all of them in her head as Vi's mentioning them, which is not helping the situation, and she's getting more and more dramatic.
And then, like as all of this is happening, you just hear, "Put the gun down," and you see Caitlyn with fucking. We've been rude this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
What's the machine gun called?
I don't play
Pow Pow.
Pow Pow.
I literally have it up there.
Yeah, and also that's
we've been rude to the gun.
And that's also because that's what she called her when she was a kid, which is also very sad.
Fucking, like holding the fucking machine gun, and it's just like, you know, no wait, Caitlyn, don't do it. You don't want to do that. That's my sister. She's too far gone.
Yeah.
We heard this song in there.
Well, I mean, yeah, but honestly, I'm like, even at this point, I'm still on Caitlin's side. I'm like, yeah, Caitlin's right. There's no fucking helping Jinx. Like, you should let her take her.
And then what did Jinx do? She just puts the gun down.
She's just like, she's about to shoot at her, but then you see Caitlin's faster with Pow Pow.
Well, no. She puts the gun down and...
No, before that, she's like shooting. She's like about to shoot.
Right, about to shoot.
She's like, okay, no, Pow Pow's
like,
more dangerous than the handgun. So she puts the handgun down, like he kind of giggling. She puts the gun directly in front of Silco. And you see her kind of aiming, and then they kind of like stand off for a while. And she's like, she really can't be let live. Vi, she's fucking out of control. And we kind of like a tense-off standoff of her with her hands up, and then just shimmer speed, her eyes glow, and she fucking
she fucking shimmer speeds over,
like a blink of an eye,
knocks the fuck out of
grabs Pow Pow, swings the shit, and knocks the shit out of Caitlyn with it. It's just like, oh shit.
Yep.
It's so intense.
And then of course there's more, like
wake up, think of everybody we care about. She's like having horrible visions of all of them, just like her completely addled brain, just completely putting everything out of context.
Okay, now think about them without them being like horribly traumatic to you.
Oh, right. But then as that happens, Silco actually breaks his binds and actually grabs the pistol.
Yeah.
And goes to point it at Vi.
We don't know where he points it.
Oh, he points it.
He grabs the gun, and then we see just another fucking wild, aimless spray of Pow Pow across some chair, and we see that Jinx has shot Silco.
Yep.
But we also see that Silco did shoot at Vi and just barely missed her head, and there's a bullet hole in the chair that Vi was sitting in. So he was going to kill Vi.
And then, Jinx breaks down again.
Yeah, she on her knees just crawls over and tries to
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah,
and of course Silco's like, hey.
This is when we get the ultimate confirmation of I would have never given you to them.
I would have never given you to them.
Yeah.
I would never have given you up. Not even for the entire world. Don't cry. You're perfect.
I was never gonna give you up.
Exactly.
But then, yeah, just like those are his last words. Don't cry.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to say I don't know if I mentioned it ever, but Jason Spisak is Silco's actor. Me and you know him as Wally West and Forager from Young Justice.
Really?
Yeah, he's Kid Flash and Forager. He's a fucking huge range on that dude.
But yeah,
his Silco's insanely good.
Yeah, he really is. But yeah, and then of course Silco just dies there.
Yeah, and Jinx is completely in tears, and you see her kind of just like completely
silently,
cut off all of her emotions, and then she says, "Powder, don't worry, everything's gonna be fine, Powder." And we see her kind of like walk over to the chair with her gun, taps the one that says Jinx, and just kind of moves it back and sits in it.
Yep, and just sits in the chair that says Jinx.
Yeah.
And she explains that, it's just like, we're not going to love each other. You're never going to love me like you did.
Yeah, she's like, I thought you could still love me even though I'm different, and it's just like an incredibly fucking depressingly sad scene.
Yeah, it's just like, she's like, yeah, you've changed too. And then she like stands back up, just slowly walks over, grabs the Hex Crystal,
as the song belongs to you created, which is very obviously very on the nose, but it starts playing.
Literally just like loads it up and starts walking. And just starts walking.
We also
forgot
that. Oh, nice. Oh, the cat's stretching very adorably.
Yes.
We also forgot to say that it at some point does cut back to the council scene.
No, this is where it does actually.
Oh, now when
because then you see because Mel before when everyone was getting angry, you saw Mel looking at her family ring. And this is the point where, as Jinx is loading it up, Mel literally takes the ring off and puts it down, and she's like, "I'm for this proposal."
Yep.
And then there's a lot of cuts where, like, you see a bunch of the council just raising their hands,
saying, "Fine, we'll negotiate peace with
right." And then it cuts also to Heimerdinger talking to Echo.
Yeah,
and
saying, we're gonna do some crazy research together.
And you
focus
see
on this clock. You're gonna discover time travel.
Yep. and you see like a one-armed what's her name? Sekia?
Really? Sevica?
Fucking Sevica.
Yeah.
Like, actually taking a
trying to use the lighter. Trying to use the
lighter and, like, no arm. And it just, like, it shows a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah, a very apt one that set fucking fans backflipping in the streets was we cut to Singed looking at a small locket with a picture of a girl who may or may not be a character named Oriana, who's like a weird cyborg robot that's possibly was his daughter that he lost.
Isn't there
He
like
says he also had a daughter. And also, yes,
a
there is...
bearded man?
Yeah, a bearded man with large claws and metal claws hanging up on like on a thing. That is Warwick, who is a large, like, nightmarish wolf man who like kills people and is presumably Vander. Yeah.
Also,
the presumption is that it is actually Vander because people theorize that
can
in
we save that for
episode 1.
Can we wrap this up and save that for
we'll
afterwards?
Yeah.
But then, like, even once in a while, as like this is all like, you know, you see like clips of like Jinx getting ready to like shoot, and you also see like Ambessa walking into her daughter's room.
Yeah.
The giant painting of the Immortal Bastion is just fucked.
Yeah, covered in gold paint, which also could be a reference to Rel, who knows. But also,
Maybe.
yeah, she completely fucked up the painting and saying basically fuck Noxus and fuck the Immortal Bastion. Not going back
And
there.
in the end, like, you know, Jinx shoots fucking fish bones.
Yeah, and a crazy ass cool shot of like those like 2D anime art style of just like the blast, like completely like it's such a cool ass 2D anime shot of the huge power of fish bones, which is her ultimate in the game. Fucking firing this giant super evil nuke rocket at, and we see it is going towards the fucking council meeting area.
And yeah, and then finally,
Vi and Caitlyn seeing the
like,
thing go,
and it just like they are not okay with this. But then you also see like everyone on the council finally, like it was unanimous, agreed. We want peace. And then like you see when the missile is right next to the window, you see like Mel look back.
You see her back like weird like outfit kind of light up weirdly.
Right, but then she turns around actually and takes a look, and everyone's like looking, and then it just goes in, explosion. And
it like cracks the screen.
It cracks the screen.
You used to see like a big giant wall of the actual like face of the Fishbone's missile, like on the cracked glass, and it's such a fucking amazing shot.
And that's where the season ends.
Yep, that is the season finale, and it is such a fucking dramatically intense shot. Oh god, it's such a fucking great highlight for the end of this series. I
really
fucking
is.
love everything about this show. It's incredible. It's an amazing ending, and fucking so dramatic and like so ironic with all the people voting for peace, and then fucking Jinx's insane ass fucking everything up again as she always does because she is a Jinx, and that is the point. She is a fucking bad.
Yeah, it really do be like that.
She's an awful omen, and she's a great character. It was so fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And I was hyped as hell that you decided to watch the show because that was such an emotional scene. I was literally almost in tears with the whole Silco saying, "No, you're perfect." Which also confirms he does care about her, and he was being genuine when he said, like, "No, I wouldn't have given you up," and like.
I mean, they were his dying words. Why would he lie, right?
Yeah.
In that scene, when I first watched it, I was like, I did have one, my eyes well up, and I did actually shed a tear at that. This, like, recently, when we rewatched it before this, like, so I could, like, get back into the game a bit, I, like, started welling up at that scene again. It fucking hit hard, man.
Yeah, it's a fucking intense, really, really wonderfully done emotional scene.
But
it's so fucking fantastic. And this show was so amazingly done, and I'm glad that it's got so much praise and so much attention that it very much well deserves because of how fucking well done the show is.
It is fantastic.
The musical choices and the slow motion shots and just it's like the beautiful animation, the mix of 2D and 3D. There's like nothing. It's so fucking good. And that's why there's like no it's so fucking fantastic. I can't even think. There's only like I said, the only bad thing was people saying that Sky was underdone, but like. There are tons of like lesser written characters in the show that didn't really like matter for most of the plot, but there's tons of really cool shit. And like it's I'm so hyped for where this next season's gonna go, what the show alludes to, and what the greater fucking League world, which I'm hyped for. So I'm hyped as hell for it.
Well, it's time for you to ask the question. We finished the series.
Yeah. Oh, so
I've
Ben,
never seen that. You have.
Yeah. So Ben, what did you think of it? Did you hate it? There you go.
You know what I hated? I hated that it had the end.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, oh my god. I even told Matt, and I even told you guys, when I announced that we were going to watch Arcane, I was going to put my expectations, my negative feelings of, it's a League of Legends movie, me. I was going to put that aside to watch this, with a clear mind and just, not look at it as a League of Legends thing. And honestly, that was the best way to go about it, because yes, it has the League of Legends name, and if you know League of Legends, it's like, I know this character. But if they took away the League of Legends name, and you only had to only people would get it if they took away Arcane League of Legends, like just the League of Legends part, and just called it Arcane. Even to someone who doesn't know anything about League of Legends, this show is fantastic. It was well deserving of the 4 Emmys, they called?
Yep.
Yeah, the 4 Emmys that it won. It started off great. I still stand by this, even the ones that I fucking hate. Looking at you, Marcus. And Jace. I love how every character had more dimensions than they let on.
Except for Sky, unfortunately.
And yes, that is the unfortunate thing. Sky was the only one-dimensional character. The only one who got fridged. Quite, well, not literally, but, you know.
But yeah,
in a weird disintegrating voidy
But
way.
yeah, ditto to all of that. Can confirm. I know maybe 3 things about League of Legends game, and I still think Arcane is a fantastic show. If it did not have the League of Legends moniker on it, I would not think any differently of it. It has no meaning to me.
But the writing, every episode, the writing was superb. It was all coherent. Yeah, some of them started off weird, like episode 7 with the fucking rap. Yeah, with firelights. But even aside from that, it was so coherent. There really wasn't any confusion as to, of the story. There wasn't any confusion. There was a lot of confusion, apparently, especially the big debate about Jinx and Silco. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And people are still arguing, did Silco care? I'm a believer that he does care.
100%.
It's just because he treated her differently. Even the most angry he got with her was just being irate with her.
Yeah, like I said, she killed 6 police officers, and he was acting like she crashed the family car.
Yeah.
How could you be so stupid? Why would you do that? Just
that's all. But
then motherfucker kills people that for no reason, and for her he's just oh my daughter, she's out of control.
Bad llama,
my daughter, she drives me crazy, huh, guys? She kills
that's
people.
My kid.
Blows up buildings, but oh goodness, good kids.
But yeah, but it's just every single character was fantastically written.
I loved Vi.
Beautifully voice acted.
I honestly liked Jace enough that I liked his arc. I feel like he was a very well-rounded character. I don't think he's anybody's favorite for the most part.
Oh yeah, he's
even
not
those fangirly of fangirls, I think would probably not put him in their top 5.
Honestly,
but he is
honestly,
well-rounded enough, I think.
Well, and see, that was the thing. I started liking Jace.
Yeah.
Then he started being a dickhead, and that's when I started being he's pretty much just another Marcus. And then that, with all due respect, I don't give a shit about what all of you. I'm you're back to me liking you at least. And just everything. The animation was superb, especially with the fight scenes. We already talked about that. Yeah. The music, I may not be a fan of that kind, the kind of music that they play. Spot the fuck on for this show.
Oh yeah.
It was welcomed when it showed up, and it didn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah.
It was just perfectly spot on. The mood, all the moods. I laughed, I cried. It was a really good.
Studio 14 is a music video company, and they do fucking good ass jobs.
They really do, yeah.
Yeah.
And just every concept that was done was so beautiful, like this kitty below me. Sorry, I'm getting head bonked by a cat. Just so much good things.
Yeah.
Everything was honestly, this is up there, except for the whole Sky thing, which is why it's not as high up as a different one. But this is up in the realm of things where I can barely find anything wrong with it. The only movie that actually has the moniker of I literally don't know anything wrong with this movie.
Is your favorite movie Episode 1 Phantom Menace?
No. You know why I like that movie?
We went over it. No, what's your actual favorite movie?
I like Episode 1 because if you want
to find out more, listen to the Revenge of the Sith movie garbage episode.
Actually don't because they fucked up by everything I said. Literally.
You should have been present.
Anyway.
Perfect movie.
The only movie I cannot see any flaw whatsoever with is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
No,
that movie.
It's not as good as the manga. Comic.
Oh yeah, dude. Okay,
it's not quite as exquisite as the comic, but I guess it's all right.
Robin Williams versus Will Smith. Not a fair assessment because it's a different media type. You can do a lot more with one media type than another.
I love Scott Pilgrim to death too.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was literally and
also tonally and visually, I will say that they are comparable to fucking this Arcane because they are so fun and bombastically beautiful colored and.
The arcade game.
Arcade game, yeah, that's what I said. No, Arcane!
Arcane.
I literally said Arcane.
Sorry, I thought you were still on Scott Pilgrim. I'm like, dude, the arcade
Scott
game's
Pilgrim
fun
and Arcane are both incredibly visually fantastic, very humorously written, have tons and tons of very well-rounded characters. Yeah, but like this fucking show is so goddamn good. Chris, your thoughts and stuff?
I mean, yeah, it echoes all of that, and then can we just talk a little bit about how well they, at least to me, how well they portrayed Jinx's trauma.
Yeah.
And like how like, you know, they were like when it seemed like she was just talking to herself, how she like created not only these like distorted and monstrous looking, you know, images of the people that, you know, like betrayed or otherwise wronged her, or had like those moments where it's like it's them normally, but you have like these like you know, kid like drawings of like angry faces plastered over them. It's like where it's like you want to believe that they're the good person they know, but the most recent memory you have of them is them just, you know, being fucking dickheads.
Yeah, being shitty to her.
Yeah, and it's just like it's a how it just distorts your perceptions of other people and creates the, you know, like the anxious or just otherwise like, you know, in a very like intrusive, irrational line of thinking, and it's just, you know, it's hard to know like, well, what's up and what's down, and I don't know, I really appreciated it at her not just being like, this is Jane, she's crazy, she talks to herself. Why?
Yeah.
It actually like portrayed her as, or like it actually kind of like really showcased from her point of view like what she's going through, and I just thought that was incredible.
Yeah, it's like someone on the team like knew how something like that happened.
Yeah, someone
and they took
any
care.
number of like misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed or untreated mental illnesses she could be diagnosed with, like a ton, because she has so much going on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Either like, you know, just naturally from birth or things that were given to her through trauma. She just has so much going on that she's like just the ultimate like.
Yeah.
And she didn't have
really great insight on that character.
And she never really had a very good outlet. Not even with Silco, not even with Vander and them. She had no good outlet.
Yeah.
And at the very end of it all, it like that was the snap. That was the snap that made her like shift to one side or the other, was when she accidentally killed Silco and learned that Silco really did care about her.
Yeah.
And then, yep. That powder left, like vanished, like like Jinx snapped.
Yeah, people like there's so many different moments you could point to for when Powder could have died technically, because like either A, when she killed her whole family, B, when she decided to stick with Silco, or when he did the baptism thing in episode I think like 5 or 6, or also when this happened and finally she killed the only person who probably genuinely
cared about her.
Yeah, cared about her, because Vi does care, but does not care for the being that she is now. She cares for what she was when she was a kid.
Yeah,
because
that, like Silco said, like in one of the early episodes, I can't remember. Silco did say Jinx is perfect.
Yeah, that's what he
and about at his last words, looking directly at Jinx. Even after all the shit that went down, all of the craziness that Jinx did, all of the bad things that she's done, all of the fuck-ups even to their plans and everything, he was still able to look her in the eye and be like, you're perfect.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't fuck that. You can't fucking, like, try to say he had nothing, like, no feelings for her.
And also, we forgot the callback when she was preparing to fire Fishbones at the council. In her head, played that same line from episode 3 when she first latched on to him, and like you saw like that crazy like her look at her eye in the fire. Them. Yeah, we'll show them all. Yeah. That same line, that voice line played when she was firing Fishbones at the council meeting, saying like, "Yep, that came full circle again," because this shows us so many fucking layers of incredible writing.
I did like the symbolism as well when she fired it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a blood red moon.
Yeah,
it was like that beautiful symbolism, like, you know, red is like usually a color of something bad.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Breath of the Wild, blood moon means all the enemies come back and they're powerful.
Yeah.
Just I mean, and like in the past, even red is bad guy color.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's just like it just sets it, especially because red really makes that blue shine.
Oh yeah.
But oh my god, did they ever confirm a season 2 and when?
The show aired 2001. Like I said, every other week a part aired.
2021.
2021. I don't know what year it is anymore. In 2021, in like November to December of that year, and literally the week and day that this part 3 aired, like before everyone was already like latched onto the show, it was blowing up huge on all social media. The episodes aired that day, and then like before like practically anyone could open their Netflix to watch it, they're like, "Hey, we're on season 2 now. We got confirmed. We got picked up. Don't worry."
Does it have a year release date yet?
Doesn't have anything yet.
Fuck.
People have been waiting for a trailer for the past 2 years because
I heard a rumor that they're probably thinking of trying to release it next year, like 24.
People are assuming because the show pretty much popped up out of nowhere.
Damn,
A show this beautiful and this well written, that that they need to take all the time they can on it. But it literally like day and date the final part aired, and it was just like, and season 2 is confirmed, picked up, it's working on it now. Don't worry, everybody. And everyone watching it was just like, "Oh yeah, I can't fucking wait." And I was like, "Yeah, that type of shit," because the fucking show's
and like I said, I agree. Like at first I was like, no, it's League of Legends. Then it's like, you know what? I'm gonna beat you to the punch. Fuck it, we're gonna do Arcane next because I see. As any of you who are a longtime listener of this podcast know, I'm the kind of guy who wants to watch a thing not because it's hype as fuck, not because other people said fucking watch this shit. I want to do it on my own time because I'm fucking weird when it comes to shows. I don't jump on immediately unless I know I'm gonna be like super hyped for it. Like I think The Witcher was one of them because Chris and I both started watching episodes when they were like fresh new.
Mm-hmm.
Castlevania, my god, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When the moment I found out that show was live, I'm like, I'm fucking watching this.
Yeah.
This one is one of those ones, you've all heard me say this before. If you're new to this, well, they've heard me say this before. This was one of the ones where I'm just sitting here like, man, I really did miss out early on. Why did I wait this long for this show specifically? It happens a lot on this show. It's like a trope at this point.
Yeah, but like it's I was gonna say like Young Justice season 4. I know you finished it before I did. You hopped on that.
Arcane on season 5.
Season 5, yeah. Wait, is it 5?
Yeah, I think I'm on 5 because 4 was
Was 4 I thought 3 was Phantoms.
No,
whatever.
Fill in the gap.
The newest season of Young Justice, Ben did watch. I watched the first part because we're gonna cover it eventually, but he watched the entire thing before I could even get to it because he was so hyped after watching this show.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I was gonna say regarding this show, Arcane, and its relationship to League. Obviously, like I said, the show blew up with like casuals and non-fans at all to a level that no one predicted. But now I wanted to say that this show is having an MCU effect on the actual game and world lore of the actual game now. If you don't follow comics at all, after the MCU blew up, everyone in the actual comics industry started fucking twisting themselves backwards in all kinds of fucking gymnastics and pretzel shapes to make everything in the comics that have been going for like 70 years now or whatever to fit the MCU tone and aesthetic and like team builds and stuff like that, which pissed off a lot of old school fans and stuff. And now after Arcane's incredible popularity, a lot of the lore and stuff in League has like changed and stuff to fit Arcane's stuff just because it's so popular. And you know how many like huge massive lore YouTubers have been like raging for the past 2 years that the popularity of Arcane is like, it's ruining League and it's ruining the lore because everyone's changing it to be more like that show. And like a lot of characters, the like 4 or 5 characters that have been revealed since the show have come out, they felt like they've been underwritten because they've like given all of the lore to the team, Studio Fortiche, and the writers on this show to like going forward. All the spin-off games that I've been trying to get these two to even look up the trailers for, like Ruined King and recently Mage Seeker, which are like 2 games that take place in 2 other countries that are also equally fucking, I would say, are equally as fascinating plots as this show. And I would suggest anyone check them out because they're not League and there's no teamwork, so you don't have to worry about toxic shitheads. It's like there's so much fun lore and story in all of this world that I'm glad that this show is affecting the lore, but I get like where old school fans are going to be upset about that.
So literally, Arcane, when Arcane was made, they pretty much retconned a whole bunch of things.
They are
for the better, not the worse.
For the better, I would say. Like, you know how, I guess you guys don't follow comics, but like you should see the funny fucking like clip package of all the ridiculous shit that they did in Marvel to like bring back characters that are dead for decades because the MCU has them, or like why Nick Cage is now a black guy as opposed to the white guy he's been for the past 70 years. It's hilarious. Or like making characters like Phil Coulson. No, he was there the whole time. Here's a long comic about how Phil Coulson was always in the Marvel Comics universe, and like all kinds of other shit that fans are just like, this is fucking bullshit. It's ruining the story and blah 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 blah. But
people like that just need to chill out.
It's all and also like I said, it's running for 70 fucking years. There's no like established canon. Shut the fuck up.
Right? Yeah.
And League is a multiplayer game where people fight in esports and cuss out and call people slurs. Don't fucking worry about the lore being as accurate as it was.
The comics is the lore, right?
Yeah. Well. But it's all nebulous again.
Actually, say that again.
The comics are the lore.
Well, yes, but actually no. That is literally the perfect comment to answer with, well, yes, but actually no. Because yes, the comics are indeed the canon source material. But it's changed everything so often that they had to figure something out because there were too many goddamn continuity issues over the many years comics have been a thing.
Yeah.
Thus, multiverse theory.
The League, yeah, sure. The League games has like probably, I think, almost 2 decades old at this point. It's fucking old as shit. They've retconned stuff plenty times in the past, and they've changed people's backstories to make them less problematic or less shittily written or less ham-fisted or whatever. And this is just the first thing to majorly take off in a way unprecedented, like how Marvel was literally bankrupt in selling the movie rights to all of their characters in the 90s, and that's why we had all those shitty movies. It's because they had no money, the company was about to shut down, and then all these movies made them popular. And then 2008 rolls around, and then they're fucking making $1 billion everything that they put out, and they're so, fuck, we gotta fucking fix everything in the past, like, make it all make sense. And so, like, yeah, this show blew up with tons and tons of casuals, and so they're like messing up the old school lore to make it more fit to this. But I appreciate it. The new games have all been fantastic. You don't need to play League of Legends anymore. You can play anything else. But that's my spiel to try to fucking support Riot, and also remember that Riot is another bad, awful company that does horrible practices, and you probably shouldn't support them regardless. But anyway, Ben, are you done looking up what season of Injustice it was?
No. Oh no, I was already done with that. Fill in the gap with a question. I'm looking something up right now.
Well, I don't fucking know. Oh, Chris, I do implore you, check out the trailer for Ruined King and Mage Seeker. I think that you would have fun with those games, regardless of their League collection, regardless of anything you'd even give a shit about character-wise. I think aesthetically and gameplay-wise and story, I think you would have fun with them.
So Mage Seeker was the roguelite?
Yeah, that's the roguelite that just came out, which is very fun.
Okay, and then Ruined Kingdom was...
Ruined King is a turn-based RPG.
Okay.
It's like, what was that game? Battlestar? What was that game that came out a little bit ago? It's like a turn-based RPG that's really, really fun. And you play as a couple different characters through like a cool pirate world in the pirate country in League.
Pirate world?
Yeah, in the pirate country of League, and like this ghost, and that's always warring with this ghost country of this in League, and so like, that's a story there, but like there's no one from Piltover, Ozone, or anywhere near the plot, so it's completely different characters, but just know it's in that world, and it's very, very fun.
All right, but yeah, before we do our wrap up, before I do, because we finished a series, right?
Yeah,
we finished a series. So for now, because we know season 2 is coming up.
But yeah, Ben and Chris, thumbs up for Arcane.
Oh, dude, 2 thumbs up on this one. If I were,
I don't know.
Hey, question. Mortal Kombat, Goro, race.
Not Tarkatan. I forgot what they're fucking called. Some kind of like.
If I were a race like Goro, all of my thumbs would be up.
Or the Collector, that other 4-armed or that 6-armed asshole.
But the way I've been talking about the show, I don't know. Yeah, 2 thumbs up.
Hell yeah.
Honestly, I thought you were going to be like, thumb down.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because of Sky.
0 out of 10, we need more Sky.
What are you talking about? When you're in the, when you're in I almost said Pilaf. Piltover. When you're in Piltover, you see plenty of Sky.
Look at my cat. My cat is not pleased with your joke, and neither am I.
She's in bliss right now because I am petting her.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm glad you liked it. We'll see you guys. Chris, we'll see you for other podcasts, but also season 2, hopefully, whenever that fucking airs.
Right, whenever that happens.
Yeah.
Chris, shameless plugs for the moment.
Okay. And done.
And Ben, what about you? What's your shameless plugs? What's a plug? Matt, what's your shameless plugs?
I don't know if I have any. Matthew Lewis Podcast, Twitter, Matthew Lewis Podcast, YouTube, Matthew Lewis Podcast, Patreon, Matthew Lewis, ML Podcast on Letterboxd. Fucking check out Forgotten Minotaur King. Check out fucking Perna and Mars eventually posted on this channel. My theoretical podcast with Chris that still, I think, has a name, possibly. Let's see, also freaking old episodes of Action Toon Bros and old episodes of Movie Garbage.
Hey, where can they... Hey, what about Forgotten Minotaur King? You said check
get
it
the
out.
book on Amazon. Buy
Yeah.
it. Digital or real copy. Get all them plugs and check all that shit out.
Hey, wow, 10 plugs.
I forgot
Well,
something.
one of them theoretical.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question
And one for the show you're currently listening to.
I have a question for you, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Chris, I will not ask you this one. But, Matt, does the name Keith David mean anything to you?
I love Keith David. He's the best.
Chris knows who Keith David is, right?
Probably, though.
Do you know Gargoyles, Goliath,
Yes.
or Dr. Fusilier? Keith David.
Oh, Cecilia was in
Princess and the Frog, yeah.
Or Spawn.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Funny that you should say that.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what our next show is going to be?
What?
It's going to be Todd McFarlane's Spawn.
Oh,
the HBO animated series.
How many episodes does that show even have?
It's a shorter one. It's got like multiple. I think it's got like 3 seasons, but it's a shortened series. But I was tempted. I was tempted to take it from you again by saying Young Justice season 4, but I'm like, we're almost done with She-Ra. You might as well have that one after.
Oh no,
that.
I have something else that's going to pair very interestingly with the Spawn for our next series.
Oh lord, but yeah, but I have like recently been interested because you were talking about like continuities and stuff. It reminded me of a specific character from the Spawn universe that I'm really pissed off at fucking Neil Gaiman for.
I was going to say that regarding Spawn, there was one comic arc that I ever read of Spawn ever in my life.
Is it Gunslinger?
No, it was the one where God and Satan were like reincarnated as those 2 little kids.
Oh yeah,
That's the only comic I've ever read, and I really fucking loved it. So I'm hyped. I remember.
That sounds like the plot of an anime.
It's fucking good. The 2 of them are literally just like murdering each other in the most violent ways possible because they're both immortal. It's very funny. But I'm looking forward to that because I do want to talk about Spawn like lore and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to watching that show because
absolutely.
I only caught like 1 or 2 random episodes, and I never was really paying attention to the plot when I was airing when I was a kid.
Yeah, HBO Max, right?
Yeah, my kids have my kids. When I was a kid, I had HBO. My parents would have it, and I would just like randomly catch episodes of Spawn. So I'm looking forward to collectively watching.
Yeah, and it's really good because not only did he do the comic books, but Todd McFarlane also did the animation for this.
I remember they do like a weird fucking talk to camera thing at the beginning of the episode. Hey, I'm Todd McFarlane. I created Spawn.
Yeah.
That'll be fun to talk about.
That is a thing. But we'll get into that next time. I just wanted to drop that because I really wanted to say Young Justice season 4 just to take that away from you.
Oh, no,
but then I was like, but Matt won't be able to.
Yeah, we're gonna keep putting that off. We're gonna keep pulling that off because I do have another series.
Oh no! I'm gonna promise you that redacted because that's not part of the show. But now we know what the next show is, and like I said, we'll do our research that we never do. We'll watch it because we do that.
Yeah.
And it's such a good show, and it's not that fucking live action movie.
Yeah, I'll watch that on my own time. That's fun.
That's for movie garbage.
I was gonna say, or the Spawn in Mortal Kombat 11 is fucking fantastic. So
who is voiced by Keith David?
Keith David reprises the role. Yeah,
he does. But anyway, wrapping this up completely. Now that we know that and we did our plugs. From all of us here at Action Toon Brothers Incorporated, you guys have a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever, and as always, keep it sleazy!